Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and those beyond the binary. This is the Between Monstrous Business. Welcome. My name is Alex Rabitsky. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be the keeper for this gothic tale. My hunters, as always, may introduce themselves.
Hello, howdy, my name is Wes Franks, my pronouns are he, they, and I portray Ross Fontenot, the American, whose pronouns are also he, they.
My name is Meg. I'm a DM's Guild author and general writer. My pronouns are she, her. And tonight I will be playing the illustrious Carla host, the undeniable. Also pronouns she, her.
Hi everybody, my name is Jordan Fries. I am a composer and an actor, and my pronouns are he, him, and today I'm going to be playing Bigby, the wolf. His pronouns are also he, him, for the time being.
Hi everybody, my name is Shelby, or Whistle or Shibby Doo Doo. I'm a regular TTRPG player here on Twitch, as well as a streamer over on my Twitch, and I'm going to be playing Pure Rivia, whose pronouns are also she, her, and the Legacy.
Fantastic. Well, we are about to begin our 16th chapter of The Between, and for those of you who may not know, this will be the final live streamed episode of The Between. After this, we will be moving into a small hiatus. We will pre-tape the season finale, and those will air live on Twitch after they've been edited and polished up and spiffied up. So if you want to keep tabs on when that will be happening, well, follow our socials and of course subscribe to our channels and join the Discord. You got to find the information from the source, and that's where you'll find out where things are happening. So that's just my advice. Before we get started tonight, though, as always, we must give a couple of shout outs. Special thanks, as always, to our friends over at Session Zero Clothing and Accessories. Remember, promo code FAILSAFE for 10% off your first order. I think that's it. Oh, yes, and one last thing being that, hey, if you like what you see on screen here, remember, you can support the channel and the production by donating to either our Stream Elements tip page or our coffee page. Anything that goes to the coffee page is channel funds. They support future productions, things like editing and music and cast stuff and making sure everyone's taken care of. If you donate to the Stream Elements during the show, all the proceeds that are donated there are immediately distributed to everybody you currently see on screen that is distributed amongst this cast. So please show your support in any way you feel comfortable with. No amount too big, no amount too small. After all, times being what they are, sometimes even a penny in the pot goes a long way. So I think without further ado, we will jump right into this evening's chapter of The Between Monstrous Business. We'll be right back. So, last chapter of The Between, we had a lot that happened, primarily in the interest of Pura Rivia finally, at long last, ending the burden upon her family line, destroying the beast, a shape-shifting eldritch horror known simply as the Masked, within its human vessel named Aiden Cinder, inside the Lepidopterium, simply known as the Uncelium, a place where it had possessed many moths and was laid a final assault against you all, but in heroic actions, Hargrave House destroyed the beast once and for all. Pyrrha was free. Her uncle Pavel also free. And that evening, in the aftermath that followed, for the first time in a very long time between the Rivias, Pavel was just a sad old man and not a figure of consternation and concern. He probably for the first time publicly acknowledged, simply passed off an old bottle of spirits distilled from the ancient Castle Rivia that's been long lost to the noble line. A bottle that's basically Everclear at this point, just pure alcohol, really.
Pure alcohol.
Finally aged. It's like 300 years old. Gave it to you, and Pyrrha split off to go spend an evening with her beau, the Irish barman Phineas. Additionally, not much investigation of the Nutcracker happened last session, but you guys did get some more clues for the Drowned Guardian of the Docks, so I'm interested to see where that goes. Am I missing anything important? No. We're going to go over some little bookkeeping here, as we do at the start of every session. First of all, before we get into the threats themselves, I don't believe we have any Janus mask prompts that need resolving. We're still at the end of the dawn phase. We're about to go to the day phase. But Jordan, you did on your advance decide to make a custom move for Bigby.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about I just looked at the name of it and I realized that, yeah. Okay. Would you like to tell us a little about your custom move for Bigby? Would you like to read it aloud for us?
Yes, so this move is called The Sniffer Never Lies.
God, that's okay.
You have the head of a dog and all of its candid senses, though they don't always work with your human brain. When you roll the information move while relying on smell or sound, in addition to the normal results, you add the following. On a hit, you can use the clue to find a location or a side character of interest to the threat that has not been interacted with. On a miss, you take the condition sensory dysphoria, and on a 12 or higher, you find a unique item that you alone take interest in. Describe it and add it to your personal quarters. Bigby's got the head of a dog, so I figured using his dog stuff, we can do a little bit of good.
Hell yeah. And
I just love that it's called the Sniffer. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. Little bit of context. The suggestion of the find a location or side character of interest was my input there. And the reason what that means specifically in the game is that sometimes in these threats there are locations or side characters the hunters never interact with, and they never come up, or maybe they just take the investigation one way. This is kind of the way I saw of if there's a location you haven't been to yet or a side character that has not been interacted with, period, then that is a great venue to be like, and you notice this thing over here, which could be this location or a character you haven't met yet. So it kind of adds more layers to an investigation. I think that's all that is there. Good. Yeah. All right. So let's look at the threats we have currently. The only two left on the board are the Drowned Guardian of the Docks and the Nutcracker. After these last two are resolved, the Mastermind threat comes into play. Theodora's plan is coming to fruition. I'm really hoping Theodora appears in at least one of these soon. Let's look at the clues left over for the Drowned Guardian. Reminder that the question, you guys decided it was a guardian spirit. The questions on the table are, how can it be appeased, which resolves the threat, but the how can lasting order be maintained, that one I believe gives you a custom move. Let me take a quick gander at my papers here.
Because doesn't that make the Drowned Guardian an ally to Hargrave House?
Essentially. That's Sally No Face. Yes, yes, it does. There it is. There's my thingy.
I feel like if we just had one more look around in the Drowned Guardian, we might
Both
be
resolve
able to
the thread.
attempt.
Yeah, both resolve the thread. It's just that the lasting order one lets you also get a custom move in addition to
I just
forming
think
an
it's
alliance.
worth shooting for that one especially with Theodora's shit coming up.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we already have 4 hints that we haven't used. Honestly, we could so get 2 more hints today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like, actually.
the clues that have not been used on the Drowned Guardian of the Docks is that Father Gallagher has suddenly been very suspicious of the sea, whereas he was not a superstitious man. Now he is very superstitious. The other clues we have is that a sailor, you met a sailor with a glass eye and the symbol of the Drowned Guardian. Let's see, you also, in the Void, using the Void Walker move, Carla saw she got 2 clues from the Void Walker move. One displayed floating candles with glowing lights under the water, and another showed an echo of an abandoned church with songs playing at the stroke of midnight. Very, very ethereal and eerie. 2 clue, Carla. I just saw that in the chat. That's fantastic. And then there are no clues that have been gained for the Nutcracker yet, so there's going to be some consequences. And the questions on the table, again, very similar to Sally No Face. There are three ways to resolve the threat. First question being, where does the sculptor carve their works? What winter tradition does the sculptor still enjoy? And how does the Royal Ballet train its featured dancers? All 3 of these allow you to resolve the threat in unique ways. And yeah, if you ever have any questions about these threats, do not hesitate to ask them. So let's go ahead and move into the day phase.
What are the ways to solve these threats again? Depending on the question, or once we answer a question, will we know what we're able to do?
You'll get the opportunity when you answer the question, but I will kind of lean a little bit more into it, is saying that for the Nutcracker specifically, if you answer where does the sculptor carve their works, that one gives you, essentially, you can like find them and like trap them. The winter tradition one allows you to kind of find another way to like lure them and worm your way into them. It kind of lets you like enjoy that tradition with them, and then you can trap them or something like that. And then the how does the Royal Ballet train its featured dancers? That's the most complicated one that allows you to empathize with the killer and get some cool stuff out of it, cool fucked up stuff out of it. So 3 different ways, more dangerous, each following the other, but do whatever you'd like. I think just because that's a general reminder, because you guys haven't been looking into the Nutcracker, I'm not going to read the full threat text, but I'll give you the highlights from it again, which is to say that, so a retired Hunter of Hargrave House, Rabbi Rebecca Solomon, has been calling for assistance with a number of killings from the Royal Ballet. 3 dancers who have been murdered, posed in ice, encased in ice, posed as sculptures. There have been 3 victims so far. Basil Lagarde, who is 13, who was posed skating at Regent's Lake Park. Massimo Osani, 19, found praying at Solomon's own synagogue. And Hermes the Soaring Lambros, 29, crucified outside St. Paul's Church. Rabbi Rebecca Solomon wants your help with that one. So, yes, that's where that one is. And then obviously y'all are pretty heavy on the trail of the Drowned Guardian. So let's move into the day phase, I think. There are no new threats to present because we were just clearing the board until the mastermind threat. All right, Hunters, regular scenes commence. What do we want to do today? I will also point out our conditions right now. As always, Ross has the permanent condition of Enemy of the Night. Carla has no conditions. Bigby has the permanent disappointment in a horror condition and the longing condition. And Pyrrha has most beloved, as always. That is where we stand. So, Shelby, what do you want to have Pyrrha do today?
I wanted her to go have a look around the dance hall where these dancers were performing.
Oh, you want to go to the Royal Ballet itself?
Yeah, I want to start getting some clues on that, since it seems important And it seems like I could start investigating scenes around there, see what the fuck happened.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Better at looking around places than talking to people.
So the Royal Ballet is held at Covent Gardens, and so that is where you can find kind of the home of the Royal Ballet and Opera, and where the ballet studio is. Yeah.
On second thought, I'm sorry. Could I go to the synagogue where the body was found?
One of the bodies was found in the synagogue. Yeah, you can go there. That's
go
Rabbi
there
Rebecca
instead.
Solomon's synagogue. Yeah, of course.
And she's a veteran of former
Yeah, she is, so
veteran
she would
of
probably
Hargrave
know you.
House too. So I'd probably like to talk to her. There we go.
Would
Mm-hmm.
Bigby be able to come with you?
Absolutely.
Kira? Cool.
Absolutely.
Because if they're like a veteran of Hargrave House, they probably won't be too weirded out about a wolf man.
Especially if it's Pyrrha. Let's be honest. If they know Pyrrha, they're definitely not concerned about Pyrrha bringing a dog person around. She's probably done weirder.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna go take a look around.
Big
Yeah,
B is gonna go out into the
Big B Pyrrha
daytime,
time. Let's
which
do
we'll
it.
see how that goes.
I'll punch anyone in the face who I need to. Don't worry, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. And Ross and Carla.
I think I'm gonna go down to docks. I'm gonna look into the creature,
Okay.
or well, the guardian spirit.
Sure. And Ross.
Same. I'm
Okay.
going to go down the docks and see if we can tie this bad boy up.
Another Ross and Carla adventure, baby. That's
love
what
it.
I'm talking about.
You know,
Yeah.
we've been getting so
Fuck
much
yeah.
Drowned Guardian content lately. Let's focus on the Nutcracker for one. So we're going to start with that one. I will, of course, put on my gothic Christmas music because why wouldn't I?
Perfect for this July.
Yeah, exactly. It's Christmas in July here
Christmas
at Crypto
in
Safe.
July.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, the current masks you have available are the Mask of the Depths for the Drowned Guardian threat and the Mask of Perfection for the Nutcracker. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, you two, first of all, make your way down to Covent Garden. This place, especially for you, Big B, I'd say, is an overwhelming location. It is a temple to the muses. Orphans pray for salvation outside. Toothy icicles melt, appearing to salivate from the various bits of architecture that hang off the structure. Here's your paint the scene question for Covent Gardens. In 1728, John Rich raised capital to build the theater through the success of the play The Beggar's Opera, which satirized Italian opera at the time. What subversive or satirical elements of opera do you see that reflect this history here in Covent Garden?
There's a mural of a very full-figured woman in a very extravagant pose.
Very good.
Oh gosh.
There is there's a couple of costumes out on display in the front lobby of some of the most well-known performers.
I did mess up and say that the Covent Gardens thing. I meant you going to Rebecca's synagogue, but I'm just going to say that Rebecca's synagogue is near Covent Gardens, so you're passing through this clustered space on your way there.
Sure.
So continue. So
Yeah,
my
sure.
apologies.
No, it's good.
But yeah, they're at least in the front lobby, although we're not really seeing that part. There's costumes on display, things like very, very elaborate gowns or Viking helmets or things of that like.
Mm-hmm.
There are several. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you about to go?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
There are several like half-cut character masks that kind of sit like at the top side of the face that completely line the walls. Some of these masks are angry, some of them are frightened, some of them are joyful and loving. Some of them are cut in half, some of them look like suns, some of them look like moons and stars. Just all of these masks, very theatrical.
I love that. Fantastic.
There
go ahead, sorry.
are marionette crosses, marionette handles attached to strings, but with nothing attached to the strings, hanging in the corners.
That's creepy.
I love that. As you two are passing through Covent Garden on your way towards Rabbi Rebecca's synagogue, describe to me, Bigby, how you are dressed to hide yourself in public.
He's hooded like what he normally wears. He's just really trying to keep a low profile. He keeps his head down. He slinks and like makes his body smaller just so that he doesn't stand out with his hulkishly disgusting frame. But mainly it's the hood that is covering him. He has nice shoes on for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
He has nice polished shoes.
Mm-hmm.
He has nice polished shoes, and they're brown.
As you are moving through the space, you pass many beggars, many crowded bodies nearby. And let's see, I'm looking at something real quick. I'd say that this happens to you, Pyrrha, since you are kind of, Bigby's keeping himself small and out of sight.
Pyrrha for once is not, because she doesn't have to be on low profile
and also because
anymore.
you're most beloved. I am also having this happen to you. I say she. There is a woman's voice that you hear shouting off at you towards the side. And as you look over in that direction, you see a beggar, a mouth of just no teeth, just gummy lips. This beggar wears a Christmas wreath upon her brow, and she's playing with a little nutcracker as she's like, yeah, the mirror, the shard of mirror. I want it. I want the shard of mirror you possess. Give it to me. Give it to me now. Please.
How close is her?
She's on the street side that you're like right next to as you're passing by her. She is demanding specifically from your personal quarters the shard of the cursed mirror.
Yeah, that I absolutely don't have out in the open, so that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just ignore it and walk by, because God, I will kick a lady in the face today.
If you give me the mirror, child, and I will tell you a story. Give it here.
How do you know this is in my pocket?
Not all puppets have strings. You're being toyed with even now. She like rattles a little nutcracker at you.
Let's look at Bigby.
Bigby looks at you.
And look at the lady, and is like, maybe we should actually have a talk.
I think a conversation would work very well.
And you walk over? She holds her hand out, grasping and like
Hold
reaching.
on. Tell me the name of the story I'm going to hear for this.
Choosy. Give me the mirror.
Not choosy. I should know what I'm buying. Informed decisions.
I'll say give me a day move with your persuasion. This is a pretty simple one. I mean,
What is persuasion?
not
What is
persuasion.
that?
Sorry, presence. I meant to say.
Presence.
Yeah,
I
with your
finally
presence.
don't have a negative to presence.
What are you afraid of
guys.
happening?
You did it.
What are you afraid of happening here?
She won't tell me.
She won't tell
I'll
you.
have to give her the mirror
Okay.
without knowing.
Go ahead and roll with presence. You know what we haven't had come into play in a while? You know what? I was about to say, ooh, can I make most beloved disadvantage? No, not this time. I feel like that's not applying here, so never mind. Go
Could
ahead and
I
roll.
use the? Could I use the mirror to get advantage on the roll? Because I'm using it as
You
a
literally
bargaining.
could. You literally could.
Since
If
I'm
you want
probably
to
about to
mark
lose
the
it,
item, yeah.
I'm
If you
doing
want to
that.
mark the item, use it. Yeah, get advantage.
Oh well, that was garbage.
What'd you roll?
It's a 1 and a 4, so it's a 6.
With advantage?
With advantage, I rolled 2 1s and a 4.
Oh, 2 1s and a 4. Oh, that's fine. Well, that's plus, and then...
Yeah, plus a 1. So
Okay,
that's a 5 plus 1.
Okay, so 6. Yeah, that's a miss. So, let's see.
Oh.
Yeah. She is going to... I will say what she does is she just goes, and she just leaves you, not wanting to argue or bargain. This old beggar, creepy woman, wanders away into the crowd. I'm going to say that while you were engaged with her in that conversation, you did not know the other beggars coming up to pickpocket you, and
I want to put a mask on, please.
Okay, they was gonna have them take an item from you from your pocket.
Absolutely not. I will actually have to kill someone.
Which mask are you gonna mark?
What was it called? The imperfect?
Oh, mask of perfection.
I want to put that on.
That's fantastic.
That sounds fun. Sounds fun.
Each hunter narrates the last time they danced, what was perfect in those moments. Do we want to narrate that now or wait a little bit?
I don't know. It's up to you. What do you want to do?
I mean, I've got a really cute one right off the bat. That's wholesome as shit. But...
I'd love to hear it. I'll just play the Brathwaite waltz music, because why not? Go ahead and regale us.
Well, it was a couple years ago. Pyrrha, Pavel was not in the city, so Pyrrha got a rare night of freedom in which she did not have to sneak around. So of course she goes to Phineas's bar, and some interesting batch of sailors came into port because the bar was just alive with music. And that night she learned how to dance from Phineas. Just some random bar, like tavern group dance. But it was fun.
I love that. Does anyone else want to go now? Or do we want to save those? Go for it, Big B.
I'll step
When was
in.
the last time Big B danced?
It's not exactly Big B, but it was the one who was his legs. The night before they died, they were a performer. Very strong, very talented. It was a sold out show. Their parents had come for like the first time to see them perform in years. There were no mistakes. There were no accidents. There were no flubs. It was entirely perfection. They finish their dance. They take a bow. And then they fall and stop moving. And that dance was their last.
Ross and Carla, do you want to save yours or do one some now?
I can do mine now.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, the last time that Carla danced was at Brathwaite Hall. Let's be honest. Swirling around with all of the gentry of London, dancing with Cal, probably with Ross, and of course with the Lady Brathwaite herself. A very dangerous night, but I mean, there's something very perfect about being masked. Something very perfect about no one knowing who you are, and yet everyone knowing who you are. The point of a masquerade isn't really to be concealed, it's to let your inhibitions go. And as we all know, what happened during the Brathwaite Ball, many inhibitions were let down that night.
Oh, yes.
So, technically, the last time Ross danced was with Carla, and it was at Brathwaite Hall, but that was work. It didn't count. To Ross, that doesn't count. The true last time that Ross danced and felt relaxed and felt at ease and comfortable was when he danced with Clara the night of their date to Coventry Gardens. And it's something that he holds in his brain at all times to help keep himself calm.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, you pass off the you bump up your result. That will be now the 7 to 9 result. So, as always on the day move, I will tell you how your actions would leave you vulnerable, and then you can choose to back down or go through with it. I'm gonna say that by handing your mirror shard to this woman, after she, agrees to tell you what her story is about, the beautiful light will glint off the mirror shard, and somewhere in the crowd of Covent Gardens or a surrounding building will gleam and catch the eye of the killer, and they will see you, the most beloved.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with that? I know you're gonna be okay with that.
Pyrrha has been the target of 3 serial killers now, and she's killed like 2 of them. It's fine.
So what happens is this lady goes, "Oh, fine. I'll tell you the story of how I met Father Christmas."
Kara just like visibly deflates a little bit. It's like,
Give? The light glints off the mirror and is seen somewhere. She picks up the mirror shard off the ground, like looks and goes, "Oh, so many secrets within." And here's what happens, Pyrrha, is this beggar, who I guess we'll refer to as the Snow Queen, as she kind of like tucks greedily like a magpie this shiny object away, she relates to you her rendition of this holiday tale of how she met Father Christmas. And as she talks, she takes out her little nutcracker toy and smashes chestnuts in its mouth for effect. And it's this absurd little story of how she, it's like, 'twas the night before Christmas and all this stuff, kind of thing. But what catches your eye is you get a clue through her rendition of this Christmas tale. She mentions that this all occurred last year regarding a final performance. Well, actually, no, sorry, I'm misphrasing. This did not happen last year. She tells the story from the past, but mentions something eerie that catches your ear about a final performance this Christmas Eve at St. Paul's. That what catches your eye. So that's the clue. Talk of a final performance on Christmas Eve at St. Paul's. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, that's what she gets. And I assume you move on after that. So you continue towards the synagogue. Well,
unless Bigby has anything he wants to do.
Yeah, anything you want to do, Bigby?
No, not with this one, no.
Gotcha.
Stay back.
And the Snow Queen, makes her way away once it just kind of plays with herself on the street there, cracking chestnuts. As you leave and make your way away from Covent Gardens towards the synagogue, you pass by a square where you see a rather harrowing sight, for it seems you have left the Nutcracker threat idle for a little too long, and you see in a small square a towering Christmas tree that has been lit ablaze, crowned with a human star.
Like the tree is physically burning right now?
And on top of the tree, posed and frozen on ice, is a person impaled as the star atop the burning tree.
Oh no!
The Nutcracker has claimed another dancer of the Royal Ballet. And we're going to jump away from the scene and go over into Ross and Carla.
Well, fuck.
Oh shit! Gotta do something.
So let us see. You make your way down to the docks once more. Let's just looking at my vast thing here. Yeah, I like this. So at the docks, what would you like to do?
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to go down to the water itself.
Okay.
And I'm just going to very casually just stare out into the water. What are you? I mean, I know that you're protecting these people. That much is obvious, but what are you? What are you? What do you want? Come now. I know what you are, and you probably know what I am. Come, let's talk.
This is fascinating. I'm gonna have you roll an information move plus your sensitivity for directly interacting. I mean, yeah, this is fascinating. I love this kind of like talking with the spirit. Go ahead and roll an information move plus your sensitivity. I don't think, and you have no conditions.
No conditions, and I can't really use any of my stuff at the moment, so we'll just roll it straight.
Flat roll. All right, let's hear it.
All right, so that is going to be a 6 plus 2. That is an 8.
8. All right, clue with a complication. I know what I'm gonna do. Let's see, I've done that one. This feels like a fun social one to do. I'm gonna give you the complication first, and I'll give you the clue.
Okay.
Is that as you're, sitting there by the water's edge, speaking, so caringly towards the water, trying to draw forth this spirit to at least learn something a bit more about its being, you hear a commotion nearby and see that a crowd has gathered around an astonishing catch. A bloated shark hangs from a hook and chain, its ruinous maw gaping to the sky. A grizzled fisherman boasting that he's caught the demon at last, and cheering, and you realize that the crowds are getting riled up. I'm going to give you the condition that when you see these like people who are so easily believing in superstition and thinking that this guardian problem is theirs to solve, that they know exactly what's going on here. How does Carla feel right now?
I think looking at that, dismissive, I think is the right word for that.
I'm going to give you the condition dismissive. I think that's great. You're so tired with the petty boastedness and like, surety of these simple mortal men. You are dismissive in your interactions. You're tired of mortals for the day.
Look, I just went into another reality to learn about you. I'd really appreciate it if you just come and talk to me.
That's fantastic. Let's see what clues I have left on my list here. There's a little bit of bubbling in the surface, and for a brief moment, Carla, you think you can see something, a miraculous vision, a swirling mass of fish of every shape, clusters of crustaceans and drifting luminous jellyfish, all moving together to form the face of the ocean itself beneath the dark, frigid waters of the Thames. That briefly, you think you see it for a moment, but then the water bubbles and something pops up out of the water. There is a small bottle that emerges, a glass bottle that's sealed with purple wax, bobs to the surface of the water, and the current brings it to you on the shore.
She picks it up.
You can see that there is something wrapped up inside of it, sealed by the purple wax.
She kind of picks it up, looks it over, spins it around. Cryptic. I like that. Very fun.
Do you open it?
Yeah, I'll open it.
Inside, rolled up, is a piece of parchment, a prayer or incantation of some kind. That is your clue. The message in a bottle with a prayer or incantation within it. Ross, what are you doing while Carla's talking to the fish?
Ross is like, the whole time walking to the docks is like, maybe I should tell Carla about the deal with the man in the sun mask. Maybe I should bring that up, but can't seem to bring it up because it feels too private almost. Then taking note that she probably wants to be alone by the riverside. Ross is gonna make his way towards a fish market, the fishmongers kind of group.
Yeah.
Things of that nature, those that work alongside the docks that haven't been spoken to yet to deal with this, to try to get like a sense of how things are going for them. Is business good for them? Do they seem to be living a very beneficial life due to this spirit? Or are they being terrorized?
I like that. Let's see. Yeah, kind of walking along the fishmongers, you do spot someone of interest, I'd say. Let's see, I'll have it be this one. As you're walking through the aisles of the fishmongeries in this cold, biting winter weather, there is something that immediately catches your heightened senses, Ross. Something catches your scent, and it's not just something savory. You're a boy from Louisiana. It's got a kick to it. You smell something spicy being cooked right now. And you kind of, not terribly far from the fishmonger, from like the fish booths and the fishmongers, you see that there is just, the scent is wafting up from this communal pot being ladled, this spicy stew given to, out to customers with whatever they can spare, being bartered in exchange for hot spicy stew on a frigid winter's day. Handing it out is this woman laden with colorful scarves and layered coats. She's got this little basket of ingredients next to her. And she has these strong, kindly features with a beauty that has never aged. And even though people are bartering in exchange for food, the people surrounding her seem to be... They look at her with adoration. This is a person they love. Even though she is making them pay for their food, they all respect her. They all appreciate her. And yeah, you see this woman.
I'm going to get in line, and I'm gonna, wait my turn and things of that nature, until it comes up to me, and I'm just gonna pull the money out on the table and say, good mother, you mind telling me how you've developed a stew this delicious smelling, especially with the ingredients that you have available here in this city?
Well, look for yourself. There is a basket of ingredients. I'm always putting something in the pot. She has this thick Russian accent that comes up. You don't need to call me mother. You can call me Mira Nikolov.
Mira, it's a pleasure to meet you. Ross Fontenot.
She ladles some spicy stew into a little wooden bowl, takes the coin you offered, and offers it out to you. It's a cold day. You should eat your fill. Stay warm.
I appreciate you. It is very cold, and the attitude around this place has changed, especially recently.
You are a big fellow. You are American. I can tell by your accent. You are a what they say is from the South. They say
the American South. That's correct.
Yes,
Though
I have some of
I'm...
your ingredients from the American South here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Seems I'm not the only one that's from the South too, judging by your accent. I'd say you're definitely of the Eastern European persuasion, but probably something south yourself. Not too north, or you'd have a little bit more of a different inflection involved.
You know, my accent Very
many
well.
travels.
What can I do for you, Mr. American?
Somebody that works here every day, handing out stew and making such delicious food for people, means you must be very popular around here, which means not many people take offense to you being around, and means you might be able to notice things that others don't. So,
I look after everyone here. Who else will, with all their mothers across the sea?
maybe the Drowned Guardian might.
What are you looking to accomplish here, Ross?
I'm trying to see if I want to know how the community is reacting to this Drowned Guardian, not just these people that seem to be branded with tattoos, but the regular folk, the citizenry, the civilians.
Let's do information move with your presence. That's a great use of it. You only have enemy of the night, so does not apply here. And do you have any items you want to try and get yourself an advantage with? Because you have all of your items unmarked.
I am going to pull out the small tin of southern herbs and spices and kind of gesture it towards the basket.
That's so good.
As if to suggest, you know, I can provide something
An advantage,
for you.
my friend.
That is double sixes. That is a 1, a 6, and a 6. That's a 12 plus 1. That is a 13.
Phenomenal. Yeah, no more mastermind clues, but damn, that's a spicy meatball right there. Have I given you? I don't think I've given you the last bit of Theodora lore. And the last bit of like background info on the history of Theodora and the Queen. Yeah, I'll have that be the 12 plus. I'll give you some of that there, not from Mira here, but from, you know, I'll let you hear that through your conversation of stuff that's going on here. But yeah, oh my, that's so good. Yeah, you get your clue in addition to the good stuff. How you're asking her like how people? Yeah, let's see. I got some good examples here. Let's see. You ask her, like, what people think. My friend, if you have not seen things here at the docks, they are, well, they could certainly be better. They could be a lot better. Look around you. You have men, sailors, dockhands begging for scraps, and I have to pay for the food I provide. They have to give me whatever they can muster so that I can continue to help them. And then she like looks beyond the docks further and she says, look at what you see around you. Unfairness. They are workers fighting with their foremans. Just the other day, I heard arguments between workers, and the foreman stormed off from the frustration. Your clue is that the arguments between workers and then a foreman who storms off in frustration. And I'm also going to use this to throw in a little extra. And she also relays to you. Do you know what else I see? I see these same foremen, these men who run the warehouses, run their customs offices like that Frederick Walters. But I see a man not long ago. It's not a clue, I'm just giving you a little extra detail. She says, this man, foreman, grinning ear to ear, tossing handfuls of brass tickets, guarantees of work raffles into a crowd of desperate men. You know what happens? They throw fists, they fight, they kick, they punch. But they all walk away ashamed when blood is drawn. Tell me, should working men, good men of the docks, be treating each other like this? This is what I see day to day. And these talk of a guardian. Well, where is this guardian? All I hear about is men dying, men returning from the dead. But things continue to be bad here. I worry for the people, my friend.
Seems like it's unfortunate times for those that are in a regular position.
Industry grows bored and weary under route and regularity.
Very well put. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the stew. May the spices treat you well.
I look forward to using what you've given me. Let's just see if these British have the palate for spice.
One can only hope. One can only hope.
And I'll give you that little final detail because I believe it's never come up because I didn't have it marked on my sheet. All this talk of money and foremen and businesses. I don't know when this information will come to you, but yeah, it's something that you can find the little last piece here. Less than 10 years ago in 1861, Theodora had attempted to stop a particular import tax from being set. The tax law would have cost her businesses a lot of money. She had ably manipulated Parliament, and it was on the cusp of victory when Queen Victoria's meddling behind the scenes renews the vigor of those who support the tax, and it became law. Fucking over Theodora royally. Let's jump back over to our friends in Covent Garden, who are just having the best time at the moment.
Oh, geez, Scoob.
Oh, jeez.
Pira. Rivia.
Oh, jeez, Big B.
Why does that work? Why does that work? I'm mad that works. I hope you know that. I hope you know that.
Oh, shit.
This is what we were waiting for, the adventures of Bigby and Pyrrha, just Shaggy and Scoob going around London.
Oh my god.
This is what this stupid show needed. This is exactly what it needed. I am upset.
You needed a dog, man.
I am upset. I'm fulfilled. 10 out of 10. Thank you, everyone.
I think I've got my star moment right here.
So the if you choose to investigate the corpse a little bit more, I'll of course let you. But yeah, so I'll let you know that I've killed one of the side characters of the threat, who was a dancer at the opera, or at the ballet.
Shit.
And this was just because you took so long to investigate this threat. So I love using the little, if you ignore it, bad things happen.
Yeah.
This is, it is a 12-year-old, it's a 12-year-old kid who was a ballet dancer at the,
Okay.
Yep.
And the tree is still on fire, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it was lit ablaze. And
how are we gonna investigate the kid?
Well, there's snow on the ground, right?
The bloke's on fire. What are we supposed to do?
Eventually, the fire will go out, or someone will come to put it out. But
I mean, my solution is knock the goddamn tree over and roll it in the snow.
That's super cool and extremely dangerous, Pyrrha. Why don't we have this be a night move for you to openly topple a tree in a crowded square while it's on fire with... Yeah, I love this. Let's have this happen.
I mean,
you got swords for this.
People are not crowding this, are they? Like, who's going to be crowding a blazing tree?
There's definitely a crowd assembled, but like not within.
Well, if they're dumb enough to not get out of the way, that ain't my problem.
That's why I'm making it a night move, just because of it's fucking dangerous. I'm gonna have this be a night move plus your vitality, because obviously cutting down a burning tree reads to me as a really dangerous situation. Now,
I would like to use the bird whistle to give myself advantage as a warning to people.
Oh, you're gonna whistle to get the fuck out of the way. That's cool. I like that.
Because I didn't use it on the base.
Yeah.
About to debilitate Bigby in a minute.
I will tell you to cover your ears. I will be nice to like protect. It's a bird whistle.
Oh no, bird whistle, but it's still.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, what are you afraid of happening here? Should you,
maybe Scotland Yard being called and then having to explain what the fuck I'm doing here.
Yeah, it's definitely worse than that, because you will absolutely kill some bystanders who get crushed by a falling tree. Do you still wish to continue with this path?
Absolutely.
All right, then you mark the item, so take 3d6 and add your vitality to it.
I did just take Caliban's Fury.
Hey,
I'm
that's
gonna
a
catch this
15.
tree.
What was that?
That's a 15.
I hate you. I love this. Describe what happens, and I'll give you some extra benefit or advantage as a result. So to set this scene, girl.
Well, exactly what I just said happened. Pyrrha just looks at Bigby and says, cover your ears, takes out the whistle, and she bolts off forward, shoving people out of the way, blowing that whistle as hard as she can to get people to get the fuck out of the way, and to clear out before she tackles the base of this tree underneath the pines that are actually lit so that she can avoid actually being set on fire. But she's hitting it at the base so that she can topple all its weight forward and into a snowbank.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bunch of snow that's been shoveled up from shoveling the path.
I love that. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna have the advantage. I'm gonna give you a clue from this.
I love clues.
I love clues.
Yay.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. The corpse is frozen, so like the fact that this corpse was like, you know, gelded and, you know, frozen in ice is part of the reason why it has not been burned as badly. Like the body's not fully ruined by now, and you acted quickly. So there are some things visible on the body. I'll tell you when you get to the clue. This is clearly a young kid, a young dancer, member of the ballet. There's already been, I believe, a 13-year-old who was murdered as a member of the ballet. This is a younger kid, probably about 12. He has on him wearing a dance belt and frayed socks, and his he has, you know, a very nice pair of shoes on, though the right shoe is a little loose. That's not the clue. The clue is that you notice that his legs are very badly frostbitten, but have been swaddled in bandages.
Interesting. And all the victims have been male, haven't they?
Thus far, yes, all the victims have been male. Incidental clue, I guess. Not the capital C clue, but yes.
Still, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And if you take a peek, this is also not a clue, which is a little character detail. If you take a peek in the little loose shoe, the loose right shoe, you notice that tucked into his shoe is a necklace with the oh god, I hope I pronounce this right. The Rub al Hizb. It's the symbol of Islam, tucked into his shoe. Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Are any members of authority here at all? Any bodies?
Yeah, like
from
fire
Scotland?
brigade are showing up, and you have help. So now they're being to, like, you know, pour like they're getting like buckets of water to throw onto the smoldering remains. And because it's so cold outside, as like they throw the buckets, it's already like slurry mid-air as it falls and splatters and sizzles onto the burning Christmas tree. I say what Bigby you notice is you're not far from the synagogue, and so in addition to the crowd that's moving around here, you kind of notice something. There's a figure standing just down the street, fists fully clenched. You see a woman, an older woman, middling age, who seems to be wearing the religious vestments of a rabbi, but is standing there down the street and is staring at where the tree was with blind fury in her eyes. She doesn't notice you, but she's staring at where the tree was.
He's gonna turn to Pyrrha. Is that the one who we're going to talk to?
As you look over your shoulder and look down the street, you do and see. Yeah, you would know this woman personally because she's a retired hunter. You recognize Rabbi Rebecca down the street. She has clearly seen this scene and she is watching from afar. You can see a tempest in her face of both of grief and rage.
Yep, that's her. Try to talk nice. Her ruler really hurts.
Right, she don't look too happy, does she?
No, not at all. But there was just a murdered child on top of a burning tree, so I can't imagine she'd be that happy.
I can't imagine that anyone could have done something like this. It's deranged.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Maybe you should go, because one of the bodies was found with her, too.
And Bigby will, I guess, go and meet her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll
With Fira.
follow.
Yeah, I'd say you get like half of the way towards her when she like notices you and just kind of like waves you to follow her as she turns her back and walks off towards her synagogue.
Yep. Yep, let's go. Let's get out of the cold.
Yeah. Let's talk about that location real quick. Rabbi Solomon's synagogue. There is a platform within. It's much warmer, by the way. A platform within where a Torah scroll is read aloud, a lamp holding a flame that never seems to die, wax dribbling down a grand menorah, indicating that it is currently the 6th night of Hanukkah. And here's your paint the scene question. What demons are fought here? What shows these struggles?
There's a man towards the front in very deep prayer, and he's sweating and he's shaking. It seems like he's going through withdrawals of some kind, and he's just praying for some form of relief and for God to guide him through this trying time.
There are demons of a spiritual level as well as a personal level, but one of such demons that the synagogue faces on a daily basis is the fact that it doesn't receive as much support from its local community as well as the British government at large as the Anglican churches do in the area. And you can tell that by the fading wallpaper on the walls, cracks in brick, rundown furniture, and even the altar of the Torah seems to be a fading vestige of what was once something quite glorious.
There is a woman and her daughter who are sitting off to the side, and the mother is bandaging up this girl's arms. And they're speaking very lowly, but you get the impression that this girl was likely beaten up at school, largely because she is not what everyone else is. And her mother reminds her that she is different, and that some people will not appreciate those differences, especially in a world that is such as hard as this one. But they must be strong. They must always be strong, and that's a burden and a curse. But it is what this world demands of them.
Yeah. Rabbi Rebecca would lead you into like a side room, and she kind of like pulls off her gloves and revealing underneath on one finger a very striking looking ring she wears upon one finger with a slightly shimmering gem. Pyrrha, I'd say that you know personally, and probably just the reputation, even before she was with Hargrave House, Rebecca's specialty has always been hunting demons. She is fully a demon hunter. It is her specialty. And she kind of like huffs and just goes, "Damn it. Took your sweet time showing up."
I'm sorry. The delay was my fault.
Your fault, or your uncle's.
Well, if we want to be technical, it really is Pavel's fault. He did cause an issue that we had to clean up beforehand, and it got very out of control. Yes, it's Pavel's fault.
I'm sorry, who are you?
New hunter. He's a new hunter.
Can I take off the hood? Would that be...
Do you wish to unbundle yourself, or
I
do you...
should. I hold on. Before he does, I need to warn you. What you're going to see is shocking. He is not a demon. He is not something to be killed or harmed. He is a member of Hargrave House, and he has proved himself several times. He's just the unfortunate byproduct of a former hunter. I know what your specialty is. I just don't want you slinging.
She kind
holy
of touches
water.
at her ring a little bit and just kind of like fiddles with it. She says, "Remove your hood."
So I'm Bigby, and he takes the hood
She
off
kinda-
to reveal this fucking monstrous wolf head.
Kind of
Like I said,
steps
he
back
is-
a little bit and mutters to herself like a quick prayer in like Hebrew. You know, she just like, then she kind of like stops and like looks at you and says,
No, it's okay. I'm here.
Like I said,
I'm here.
they are an unfortunate byproduct from another hunter, but they have proved to themselves. And Hargrave House trusts them. I don't know if that means you do, but Hargrave House does.
Is he human?
I'm not entirely sure. I have human bits.
I have far too much to worry about as it is. I'm not going to question this at the moment.
I appreciate
Probably
your lack
your
of
best
judgment. It's
It's not lack
Probably
of,
for
but
the-
I will withhold it for the time being.
I also appreciate that too.
Well, I have seen my share of hunters in my day. Fair share, though nothing like you before. Hargrave House churns through them like the so-called sculptor is churning through my favorite performers. She like looks at you, Bigby, and just says, "Well,
So,
you take
wait,
care."
did you...
No,
did you-
she looks at Bigby and ignores you for a second. She like kind of like jabs a finger at Bigby and says, "You take care." I thought I was one of the lucky few able to peacefully retire. And now she looks at you, Pura, and says, "But I find I am busy as ever. And I hear that you have recently ended a long-standing distraction from your work. Congratulations."
Thank you.
Hmm.
I won't be with Hargrave House much longer. I just have a few things I need to wrap up.
You can think you retire, but it never happens. The way you
Oh
think.
no, where I'll be going, there's no way I'm fucking coming back.
I thought I said it to myself once too. But here we are. Well,
So hold on, did you say your favorite performer? Did you know all the victims?
of course I knew all the victims. In my years, Pira, I am a patron of the arts. This is my day job. I give my money, I give my attention to the Royal Ballet. It is all these dancers I love. And now, this poor boy, Sasha, he's now dead. I've been too lax in my investigation. I'm going to have a firmer hand going forward, lest he burns the whole opera to the ground alone.
The body that was found here.
Sasha, yes. Charming boy. Had all the remnants of Russian beaten out of him by that director.
Oh.
He was an earnest boy. And now he's dead by this sculptor.
Where was he found in your synagogue? And was that in any
the one
way
that was
open
found
to
in
the
my
public?
synagogue, not Sasha. You're talking about, let's see, Massimo
not
Asani.
not the
Yes.
poor boy that we just found. The
Massimo.
one that was in your...
Yes, Massimo. Praying here. I did love him. He was a beautiful dancer. He was magical.
I'm
But
trying
yeah, and
to
I found him
figure
at my own place. This sculptor came into my own place. This synagogue I protect and help. And positioned him praying.
Now that's why I'm a little concerned if they were able to come in here without anyone noticing.
You'll want to... Feel free to look around. I'll vouch for you. I manage this as my day job. If you can find a way... I have not been able to find a way he's gotten in yet.
I can have a little look around. Got sharp eyes.
Actually, go ahead and roll... let's have this be, information move plus your presence with her.
Well, I'm glad my presence isn't bad anymore. No, Carla. Okay, that's not bad. 9.
Oh,
9. Clue with a complication. Let's see.
The Gabo. They're giving me good luck today.
Yeah. She says, I did not find exactly how he got in, or they got in. I don't know what this sculptor is. If you manage to find a way, please let me know. But I do remember outside something I noticed. Something particularly odd. There were footprints in the snow. I could not find out where they led. They were mixed in with the slurry. I don't know how they got in, but these footprints, they were bare. Someone's walking through the snow barefoot. Bare footprints in the snow this time of year.
You know what's interesting about that is that the boy we just found has severe frostbite.
Was there anything that was left behind? Like, an item, perhaps? Or if these footprints are still around?
Nothing I noticed. You are welcome to look around, though, and see if you find anything hidden. It's been
Could you show me where you found the footprints, please?
I'll take you outside. Do you wish to look around?
In my own way, yes.
Bundle yourself, please.
All right. And he puts the hood back on.
And if you're going inside the temple, wear this. And she like kind of gives you like a yarmulke, and just kind of like looks at your head at like how that's gonna possibly fit on your dome. But like,
just kind of like sticks it between his ears, and it'll sit there.
he just sighs heavily, but just like escorts Pyrrha out, and you rebundle yourself up.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna take a look at those footprints, and I would like to use my move, the Sniffer Never Lies, to get some information
You're
with
gonna
it.
use your snoot.
I'm gonna start sniffing some footsteps.
Okay. So you'll sniff. So yeah, she'll take you guys outside as well. After passing by through the temple, and yeah, finds out in like this kind of like where she last saw these. The footprints aren't still here, but like this is where she takes you where she noticed them. So I'll get you sniffing around. Why don't you give me an information move plus your reason? I'd say.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to my reason. I'm just a dude.
And because here's what I'm gonna say. Because you're a disappointment and a horror, I will give you disadvantage on the roll because you're in public looking for clues. I feel like that would apply here if you want to use an item.
Yeah, can I argue that my collection of grotesque theatrical masks blocks my face?
Sure. Hide your
All right.
grotesqueness with more grotesqueness. That works.
Yeah, but except it's a
mask.
theater mask now,
Yeah.
so now it's just like what
And
the
you're,
fuck?
in a
bell.
theater heavy area, so yeah, I like that. Okay, you can mark that off for advantage. So you'll
Cool.
flat roll. Yeah.
All right, my favorite. Oh, sick. Okay. So that's an 11. Can I use a Mask of the Past to bump that up to a 12?
Sure. You'd be more than welcome to. And did I give Pyrrha the complication? I don't think I did.
Oh yeah, forgot a complication was
you gotta
going
include
to
the
exist.
complication. I'd say that what you're gonna do is, I mean, I actually think this is good. I think Rabbi Rebecca's talking to you is wearing is rubbing off in a really negative way, because she's this is a retired hunter who has clearly not been able to find peace in retirement, and
I'm talking about retiring very soon.
exactly. I'm gonna
so-
give you the condition uncertainty of the future. That's your
Jeez.
complication.
Is it worth marking a mask so that I don't get a condition?
Up to you. I don't believe you have any. Oh, you do have one mask of the past.
I have a mask of the past left, but it will put Pyrrha on the Bloodstock portal.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could activate the Blood-Soaked Portal now, and I just tell you don't.
Because he has the
burning
feature
aperture.
that lets him, if you do a mask of the future, he gets to like replace it with one of his own features. That
I'll have
it's
two
like
more of those, by the way.
It's a freebie, essentially. Up to you.
I'm not gonna lie. I want you to save that for Ross, mostly because I cannot for the life of me figure out how the hell that Pyrrha just straight up dies from not getting information.
Well, no, you don't narrate it. All you would do is if you say you mark a mask in the future, Bigby can choose to, as long as he's in the scene with you, say, actually, you get a freebie. You don't mark anything. Here's a free mask that has no narration result.
You know what? Sure, we'll go with that.
All right, so you want to mark the burning aperture, Bigby, since you
Activate
offered?
the burning aperture.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
there is a
describe how your energy pushes them to success.
I would say that Bigby's energy so far has been quite the opposite to Dr. Murdoch's. It has been collaborative. It's been selfless. It has been, in some ways, helpful. I would say less that, like, he could pick out something that the doctor could, but his morale alone has been a bit more of a light, very opposite to what the doctor's selfish actions have kind of been. It is a breath of fresh air, which helps.
I love that. Okay, cool. So that'll bump up it to just regular. You got your clue there. You have not gotten rubbed off by Rebecca. You're in such a place of inner peace that her misfortune does not bother you.
Yeah, don't fucking
now
take
your
this away from me,
clue-
Rebecca.
Your clue, Cal. You want not Cal. You Bigby. You wanted to mark a mask, right?
Yes.
Do you want to narrate that now or wait until the dusk phase?
Yeah, let me just. I think I'll go ahead and mark that now. We're gonna. I'm actually gonna roll with the cosmic passage, so I'm gonna mark a mask of the future.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Did you already mark that mask of the past? I don't remember.
No, I clicked it and then I unclicked it because
I don't remember you narrating that second prompt.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh, we were going to, and then we ended up not getting to it yesterday.
We'll do that during the dusk phase.
Okay, sounds good.
So all right, you mark the cosmic passage, increase your sensitivity by 1.
All right, I am now on an unbroken path, unless I go with the theater troupe. But we'll see how that goes.
Oh, this is super interesting. You're looking to see. You're gonna sniff something out to see if you find anything that was left behind wherever these bare footprints were going. I think this is super cool. Yeah. You sniff around, and not too far off, you find something that's been like dropped in a snowbank that you are confident was dropped by whoever made these footprints in the snow. It's a wrapped gift. It's the parchment's a little soaked. It's an unusual gift because inside is a broken toe, a severed toe that is broken. Yeah, ain't that an unusual little gift?
Gross. And
but because of your move with a 12 plus, you also get the option to discover something unique that is only interesting and of worth to you, Bigby. You can describe and add it to your personal quarters.
Oh, wonderful. Oh God, what would he find out here in the snow like this? Here's a weird one. What if he finds an icicle in the snow and it doesn't melt in his hands?
Ooh.
An unmelting icicle.
That's unique as hell. Okay, I love that.
It's weird.
An unmelting icicle. Interesting. Very interesting. Cool.
I have more items.
I think with that, actually, we should. I'm going to begin pushing us towards the dusk phase. Which includes people can go back to Hargrave House. Is there anything else anyone wants to do? Does anyone want to attempt to answer a question before we go into the night phase here, or do we want to go through the night phase?
I think we can do the Guardian. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think we can do the Guardian.
All right, so for our audience, let's go through the clues that we have left.
Yes. So, the clues that are left on the Drowned Guardian of the Docks, which we have decided is a guardian spirit. Let's see the clues. Father Gallagher has suddenly become very suspicious of the sea before not being a very suspicious man. Superstitious, I should mean. You encountered a sailor with a glass eye and the symbol of the Guardian. A vision of floating candles with glowing lights under the water, the vision of an abandoned church with echoes and songs at the stroke of midnight, a small bottle sealed with purple wax with a prayer or incantation written inside, and talks of arguments between workers and a foreman who stormed off in frustration. Interesting clues. Which question are we trying to answer here?
How can lasting order be maintained?
Good.
Agreed.
I feel like we've got plenty of clues to allude to a pretty simple answer to
Yeah, I
this.
feel like we do actually. Yeah.
Just routine offerings. It seems like it wants
It seems to want tribute, but it also wants peace. I think it wants the docks peaceful.
Yeah, it wants.
I was actually thinking quite the opposite. Because it's when you have an entity of that, an entity with a purpose.
So here's what I'll say before you go off, just really quickly, hold that thought really quickly. I will reveal, since it's the question you're answering, what part of the opportunity you get from this is, just to help specify some things. You will resolve the threat that by forming an alliance with the Guardian, allowing the rituals to continue unhindered in such a way that the workers are protected. So that is the opportunity you will unlock through this option, and then you get a custom move that I'll tell you about later. So yes, continue, Jordan.
Yeah. So I was thinking, when you have something that has a purpose, when you have something with a common goal in mind, and this goal being order, too much of that would give it purpose. It would make it restless. It would make it unwell. How can lasting order be maintained? Lasting order can be maintained with chaos and conflict. Things like arguments consistently happening, things like conflict is what gives a guardian purpose, because really at the end of the day, they're a problem solver. And if you take a problem solver out of an environment with problems and stick it into an environment with no problems, what the fuck is it? It will become...
So from your angle then, so just so I can specify this a little more, what you're saying is that because it feels like what you're attaching this clue to is the arguments between workers and foremen, this kind of like this labor disputes that are happening. What you're saying is lasting order can only be maintained if there is something for the Guardian to guard and help protect, and that you can't solve the problem of labor disputes. They have to continue, but in a way that is going to be more beneficial towards the workers. Are you basically saying unionize? Let's start some unions.
It's just the spirit, just the unionized spirit. That's what this is.
Yeah, but I also think that this drowned guardian is a form of self-sabotage, which is what makes Father Gallagher so suspicious about it, where it needs problems to solve. So sometimes those problems just come out of fucking nowhere. So what are they arguing about? Things that go missing, maybe?
Are you arguing that this thing isn't, because it feels like it's not able to complete its job, it is manufacturing some sort of like it's like enhancing the animosity in some of these sailors? So that's why these arguments are breaking out more. That's why people are throwing prayers to it to hope that this goes away. That like this is all like all this tribute shit we're seeing is an overcorrection to what people are attributing as a god mad at them for something.
Because we have to be able to tie the clues into the answer.
So keep in mind we have to be able to use everything, or we have to explain it away.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I think that
can I offer a different point of view?
Yes.
I think this creature, in a certain sense, probably is overcorrecting no matter what it's doing, whether it's a force of good or good/chaos. I think definitely a bunch of people dying all at once certainly upset it a lot. I think that's a big thing to keep in mind, though, that this thing only woke up after about 14 people died.
Yeah.
So it is certainly overcorrecting for something.
And clearly we've already established that we have this contingent of their laborers in the docks who are giving rituals to this entity and probably inflaming its because that was one of the things we answered last time. It has this inflamed sense of actions because people are treating it a certain way with their rituals. Okay. Yeah.
I think
So sorry. Go ahead.
I think if it, no matter if it is overcorrecting, I think part of the appeasement has to be going to it and saying the humans can take care of it from here to a certain extent. I think you guys have to say, it's going to be okay.
I have a suggestion I think bridges the gap between both your ideas here, and for a way to specifically tie this one clue into it. So the arguments between the workers and the foreman storming off in frustration, there's both hands here. So from Jordan's stance, there needs to be problems to solve, or at least help subtly in their favor. And also we have the workers are being treated unfairly. Well, here's the thing, when here's tying in what Meg was saying, humans can handle human affairs, right? And the workers should be allowed to negotiate their own better pay, stand up for themselves, and have labor disputes in their favor, and possibly unionize. But these arguments need to exist because the Guardian can only help so long as there is disorder to be protected. So, and this is what I'm getting at, part of how this gets into appeasing things is laying the groundwork for there to be more labor disputes in a way that is going to be going on the workers' favor. Union disputes by setting the grounds to get people to unionize. That's going, and the Guardian can help subtly weave things in the background, but you are creating disorder that helps the Guardian help the workers helping themselves.
As in, go ahead, Shelby.
This was a way to tie in a few. I had an idea to tie in a few of the clues, like your visions from the void, and the glass bottle.
Okay.
Is that people are trying to appease it in the wrong way. So people are performing all of these rituals, like that candle under the water was maybe the first ritual that somebody tried. Then you see like people in the old church trying to reach out and appease it.
Can I offer something different for the church?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a prayer song. It's a union song that they're singing. The creature wants them to unionize.
Fuck it, we're leaning into the unionize. This is amazing.
I love this, because it's like there's chaos in that and order.
There is.
Oh.
And I will actually remind Shelby really quickly that I like what you're saying with the visions being like, the question we are putting these theories towards is how can order be maintained? So just to make sure that we're establishing how these visions can apply to that.
What I was trying to lead in there was that these people need to stop doing these offerings, these rituals, because they're offending it in some way, and that's why it's getting.
Do we want to
angry.
say that like the candle rituals have been the wrong way to go, but the song, the vision of the songs of unity between the workers, unionize, is part of the right way to go?
The candles, the prayer in the water, because you're just fucking polluting the ocean. What fucking spirit wants that?
Spit out a prayer that was offered to it.
That's true. It did spit out a prayer.
It wasn't telling you this is useful. It's like this was just like, get this thing away from me.
This is not helping. This is like, you fuckers are treating me like I'm some god. Fucking take matters into your own hands. And go talk to your foreman. Negotiate your workers' rights.
And with that, I think with the idea that the Guardian kind of works a little behind the scenes, causing arguments to break out, I think that would explain why the sailor with the glass eye was originally hostile with Ross when he first ran into him.
Makes sense.
Because of like what all was going on. This dude is pissed. He's getting like absolutely fucked, like behind the scenes with like his workers and stuff with the drowned Guardian who he has been seeking after. Very special to him, and for Ross to investigate that probably made him really hostile. Probably made him super hostile.
You know,
there's also sailors,
I wonder if maybe that sailor was like, in his lightly, heavily drunken state, might have thought that Ross was coming to stop them in some way.
Oh yeah, interesting. Okay,
like a union buster.
Like a
union buster. God,
I mean, Ross does have a very nice bolo tie.
He does have
a very nice bolo tie. So I like that kind of comes.
Bolo tie.
I don't know if Union Busters wear bolo ties.
So Father Gallagher's sudden superstition of the sea is because in all this happening, getting involved in this is paranoid as fuck, and the Guardian overcorrected, and now these people who worship it are heavily overcorrecting.
It's very easy to piss spirits off by doing the wrong
relationship
shit
between these two.
So we just have to mediate it in between. And everything's good.
Mediate a group of unruly sailors who worship a spirit of a water god, and what could be easier than that?
NBD.
I mean, we made one of us made out with a ghost like 6 months ago or some shit like that. We've done weirder shit.
Do you think that and Xander, you feel free to tell me that this is not able to be done? Are we able to use the move that we got with the Cosmic Passage to let this guardian speak through us?
It's not
them?
dead.
It's not dead.
It's not dead. Yeah.
It's not dead.
It's
You
a
can use it to speak to
primordial
drowned
spirit.
sailors, but yeah, there is. Yeah, it's only a spirit. Okay. So, lasting order can be maintained by course correcting, doing the right things here, and also ensuring that there is stuff for the Guardian to keep help protecting the sailors, but not so much disorder as there is a baseline of order that will be maintained, and order can only be defined by disorder. So it's like you must have something that helps push it into the workers' favor. You're creating a union. I love this. All right,
We're
who
creating
wants
a
to be?
union.
Do we all agree on this theory?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Who
Feels
wants,
good.
who wants to be the one
This
to
is
roll?
the god of unionizing.
This is the god of ocean labor unionizing. Who wants to be the one to roll this check? Oh, Big B suggestion. Okay.
Big B, go ahead.
I'm
All right.
okay with making the roll.
That's going to
for
be
it.
Do it.
a flat 2d6 because that was, I believe, 6 clues. So that's
flat
a flat
2d6.
flat 2d6.
All right, here we go.
What did you roll?
That's a 12.
Theodora's gonna be here. Theodora's gonna be here.
No, wait, no.
Oh wait, no,
wait,
she's probably.
no.
Wait, whose side is she on?
Are we about to find out?
I guess.
I don't know.
Guess we
Oh, shit.
because on a 12
Davo,
plus
come
with
back to
answer a
me.
question, it is the mastermind will reveal themselves while you're pursuing the opportunity. So Theodora is going to be involved during this while you're pursuing the opportunity. Cool. On that note, we're going to a break. So we'll be back here in just a little bit. Please stay tuned. This is going to be a very, very interesting night phase. Let's see what happens. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Hello, everybody. We have returned. We are about to get into the night phase here, which I'm very excited to see. Oh, where's the background for this thing? There it is. All right. Okay, so first let's go through the steps of the dust phase. And Meg, I am so sorry for you missing last week because I gave the one Hargrave House prompt. I was like, if only Meg was here, which is the ballroom.
Oh well.
Yeah, which is like Fae stuff happened here, you know?
Oh well.
Oh well, shrug. But yeah, let's go through the process of the dusk phase, shall we? Dusk. All right, Ross, my guy. Who just changed it today?
I didn't change it today. Did it? Okay.
Okay.
Whoever's clicking
Okay.
on the
There we
thing,
go.
stop clicking on the thing. Thank you.
Wasn't my fault. Didn't do it.
It was your fault.
It was probably me.
I've never done anything wrong in my life.
I was trying to click something on my page.
I'm gonna first of all change the music as we enter the dusk phase here. Let's see. What is gonna happen? I'm so fucking terrified for you here, Ross, my guy. Well, we gotta do the quickening. So
Is this technically considered a scene?
Nope.
If Bigby was
Nope.
there,
Nope.
does that?
Nope.
Nope.
Fuck! Fuck!
Let it happen naturally. Let it happen naturally.
I know. I'm scared. Okay. I figured I'd ask.
So, all right, Ross, you gotta roll your quickening roll. You don't have any huge conditions that would get in the way of this.
No. No.
Oh.
Can I just take you on a trip real quick? You see what that one says?
It's a 1.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. And you see what that one says?
Oh.
On a miss, you're going to lose control. You have the choice to retire this character and tell the keeper to put the curse threat into play. But you also have 2 Masks of the Future available.
I do.
And
You do. You still have
yeah.
the Drowned Guardian one.
Still got the Drowned Guardian one as a freebie out there because you're handling that threat tonight, so I'll allow it. So is the curse coming into play, or are you gonna stave that off a little longer?
Thinking,
you rolling
you're
a
thinking
die?
about it. You're thinking about it. You're freaking thinking about it.
I'm gonna go ahead and use that darkened threshold.
Fuck! Oh my god. Okay.
Oh boy! Playing with my
close.
heart here. What?
Too close for comfort.
Oh my god, I'm
All
gonna
right,
start
you
crying.
marked the darkened threshold, you said?
I marked the darkened threshold.
Which will lead us to another scene of you narrating how you hurt an innocent because of your curse. We'll get to that momentarily. All right, you saved it off, so that means I'll bump it up to a 7 to 9. Take drained. You take drained by barely holding the quickening in check. And yes, Shelby stepped out for the evening, which is all right because Pierre did not have much stake in the Drowned Guardian either, other than Phineas's presence. Let's see. I don't believe. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have any physical conditions.
I don't have physical
I need to
conditions.
get you.
I was saying,
hurt
I was at the
more.
docks. You could have soaked me.
Beat her up.
I could have.
You could have dumped me into the Thames.
I could have, and I didn't. And you're right. That's on me. That one's on me. Okay. Cool. So I believe we have nothing there to do. All right. Let's pick. Yes. Let's pick a paint the scene question. We only have 2 Hargrave House paint the scene questions left. I'm going to do.
Oh man.
I'll do the library. Why not? Right. Of all the rooms in Hargrave House, none feel more unstuck than this one. As you enter the unstuck in air quotes, as you enter the library, what do you see or experience that feels a little off?
There are various bookshelves where the books are not facing spine out, but opening.
Page out? That's so weird. I love
Page
that.
out.
That's
Page
bizarre.
out.
I'm a fan.
There's not a straight shelf in this room. Everything is on an angle. Even if it's just slight, everything is on an angle, and it makes the entire room feel very, very disorienting. Nothing is straight, nothing is as it should be, and it kind of makes for this almost maze-like quality, even if it's very neat and orderly.
Every time you pull out a book, it ends up being the same. It is the book that you need to read at that moment, at that time.
Gotcha. Very good. Goodness, my phone's buzzing once again, sir. Okay. Let's see. All right, hunters. What are each of you going to be doing during this upcoming night phase? Starting with you, Ross.
Ross, though drained, is going to be taking care of this drowned spirit.
Gotta start the union. Carla, what are you doing?
I guess I'm helping form a union tonight.
How? Like, you just quickly, just like, are you getting involved with the congregation, or are you doing something else in the docks to assist? This goes for either one of you, just to be clear.
I'm going to say, because it's Carla, I think Ross should handle the congregation, and I think Carla's going to handle the spirit.
Oh, interesting.
I think that might be the safest bet to go for here tonight, because
That-
Carla's not going to be really welcome around fisher folk, as it were.
All right, and what is Bigby gonna do during this night phase?
What a great question. I am now terrified of the blood-soaked. Well, I'm scared that something bad's gonna happen to Ross, so I'm thinking about it last second.
We have a freebie mask. We'll be
Yeah, you have a freebie mask. Okay. Well, Bigby is going to go and investigate. He's actually going to take that little gift that he found and start sniffing a trail.
Oh,
And doing a little bit of bloodhound tracking.
Fascinating. Okay, that's very interesting. Great. Let's have. Do you want to resolve the Janus mask prompt that we have from last session for you, Bigby? Your mask of the past you marked.
Yes.
Can you
yes, we
read
can
the
do that.
prompt and give us a little narration, my friend?
Narrate a flashback to someone's wedding day. Then, if you wish, describe how you quiet this part of you. Oh god, I had something for it last week and I totally forgot about
That's
it in this
all right.
time. We start at a church that is it's part of an area of London that is a little more run down. There's not a whole lot of wealth in this area, but there is a lot of community. There's a lot of community that kind of goes through. You see a man, very stocky, very built, marrying a very kind-looking woman. It's joyous. It's nice. Everyone, from several blocks around have come, and they've brought their own food, and they've brought their own, gifts that, they can give at this time with such little money. But everything is warm and everything is kind. And Bigby doesn't quiet this part of himself. He, like every other time, continues to embrace it. To embrace that love, to embrace that kindness, and most of all, embracing community. Community always.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I feel like we should introduce the unseen. And we did Brown's Hotel last time. It was a good one. I think tonight should be... Which one do I want to do? Actually, you know what? It's a little close to where you are, Bigby. Let's do an evening promenade in Covent Garden.
Oh,
that's just kind of, I like the idea of, let's do an unseen where it's like you're so close to it, but there's nothing of it.
There's no intersections.
There's no intersection. It's just kind of like a pocket that you never interact with. Right.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Covent Garden houses a large market selling mostly fruit, vegetables, and fresh flowers, recently covered by a new market building. While most of the stalls have packed up by the time dusk falls, the area is still abuzz with visitors. Yes, Wes?
We have done this one before.
Have we?
We have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we have.
No, we have.
You're right. Never mind. Ignore me. Let's instead do St. Osana's Home for the Destitute. So, St. Osana's is a modest-sized workhouse with around 300 inmates. The cramped, unsanitary accommodation is segregated by age and gender, with families separated except for babes and arms. The food is meager, the work frequently pointless, and the discipline harsh and arbitrary. After lights out, the house is silent but for the muffled sobs of snatches of whispered conversations. We begin the night phase. I think first, I'm gonna give actually this is a paint the scene problem, so we all do those. What signs do we see that this place is not just pointlessly cruel, but deliberately so?
There's a boy, no older than 15, who is sniffling and sneezing. It's very clear that it's due to allergies. And every goddamn day, despite what he says, despite what anyone else says in that room, one of the workers continues to bring in peonies and puts them in a little pot and then sits them. And it's almost as if every day those pots get closer and closer to that boy.
There's a pile of blankets. You're never allowed to keep your own blanket. You have to pick one up every night before you go to bed. The pile of blankets is always about 10 short. They are thin, they are threadbare, and it seems that another one goes missing every week. They're never replaced. And every night there's always someone who goes cold.
The walls of St. Osana's Home for the Destitute do stand to survive the elements, but they are not meant to prohibit the elements from making their way inside the home, where each brick meets, instead of being overlaid and smeared with any kind of form of material that would keep holes in spaces between the bricks filled, there are holes about the size of a pence in between each corner, so that the elements can make their way through, whether it be howling wind, rain, or snow.
Very nice. Alrighty. Let's proceed with the night phase, shall we? Let's see. So, I think we should begin with our friend Mr. Fontenot. You are dealing with the congregation directly tonight, yes?
Against all odds, indeed I am.
Alrighty. Well, so you're gonna make your way to the old abandoned Church of the Steadfast Anchor, where this kind of congregation is. Very well. Indeed. On the approach, you see the boarded windows, the peeling paint, and candlelight that flickers through the cracks. As you approach, you can hear chanting within, gruff voices of sailors. What has Ross done to prepare himself for this evening?
He comes dressed simply. He is not wearing any of his fancy clothes or things of that nature. He is coming to show that he is of the working class, just like them. And he is not presenting himself in a hostile manner. He's presenting himself in a way that wants to learn and speak first, though he does seem very sweaty and needing of an imbibement, though he is fighting the urge.
As you enter the chapel, all eyes are on you, and we'll return to you later. Let's jump over to Bigby. And because this is the night phase, I do get to exert full control over what happens to you. I will let you investigate the Nutcracker, but I will have the say over what exactly is going to happen here, and I know exactly where your trail you sniff out leads to. It leads to the theater itself, the ballet studio, and you will be inside the ballet studio after hours, sneaking around through the darkness, and there are people in this place. So how has Bigby prepared himself to sneak through this place crowded by performers that are rehearsing, stage members, late night ensembles? How have you prepared?
Well, he dresses in his general attire. It's very dark. He doesn't have the nice shoes that he wears during the day, for it's too normal. So every approach that he takes is going to be darkened clothes. He keeps all of his little items on him, and most of all, he is going to trust his nose, because his nose has not led him astray. So he will sniff and stammer and stay in the shadows like he always does.
Fantastic. Alrighty. And inward you sneak. Carla, you're down in the docks themselves, by the taverns, the pubs, the streets where rowdy sailors are about complaining, and you are getting ready to work some magic here.
Yes, I am.
I'm gonna change the question a little bit. How have you prepared yourself? But more importantly, what angle is Carlo looking to take with the people to get them to aid the cause?
So, this is a little interesting. This is a little bold, even for Carla. She has dressed in a gown reminiscent of the ocean, deep blues, almost as if she was like a priest or like, a priestess, very regal, very formal looking. And she kind of heads down by the water, still within earshot of the various pubs. And she is going to sing. She is going to sing the song that she heard in the vision. This sort of, workers' rallying cry, as if she was a siren at the docks. As if she was a mouthpiece for the spirit.
Okay. And that is your intention. That is what you're planning. And as you approach the first pub, probably of many that you will sing at to rouse hearts and spirits, you hear the clamor, men already singing inside, and you know that these people have hearts full of song, bellies full of beer, and you are ready to manipulate them. As you step outside and you push into the pub, you survey the singing crowd, and you realize they aren't singing of their own volition. Because seated at the bar, holding beers aloft, throwing coin and passing out beers, leading the sea shanty is none other than Theodora Brathwaite herself, as she looks over at you, Carla, and smiles. And let's go back to the unseen.
Oh, the sea shanties is such a good tie-in to who Brathwaite is. Oh my god, that's awesome. that couldn't be any more fucking perfect. Oh, dude.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
This bitch. This motherfucker, dude.
I've waited for Brathwaite to be involved in anything, man. I'm gonna give this next unseen prompt to Jordan. Why don't you take the second prompt there, read it out loud, and give us a little narration.
Cool. I was excited about this one. Cedric Decker is a boy of 11, whose father was a wealthy wine merchant until gambling landed him in debtor's jail. As Cedric lies in his bed in the boys' wing, how do we see his sheltered upbringing has not prepared him for this place? And I would say ultimately the biggest downfall of his, parents were that they didn't help him become social. He was an only child, and the only other children that he interacted with were, children that were part of a private school. He never got a chance to meet people. He never got a chance to be around people other than his parents and the people who were hired to help around the house. So running into these children who are used to this lifestyle, who are used to taking things that they need or want, he's not prepared for it. He never has, and we don't really think he ever will be. He won't really adjust to something like this, which is honestly just tragic.
Indeed. Let's jump back in. I actually want to start with Big B this time. So Big B, you are within the ballet studio itself. I'm actually gonna give you the paint the scene question for this one. You pass by in the darkened corridors. There are crew members, dancers, people who belong to the theater after hours. This late, close to Christmas, are performing well into the night. I'm gonna say, let's see, hold on one second. Yeah. From your shadowy vantages and stalking the corridors, you see legs stretching at barre from the dancers, steely eyes and mirrors, the soft pat of a body landing perfectly, the slap of a ruler adjusting a grand plie. You see a stern woman who can only assume is the director, who is quite intense, guiding dancers, stage hands and costumers moving about. You move silently. This is a crowded place, but this is where the trail has led you. Here's the paint the scene question for the the studio itself. Chopin's Etude Opus 25, number 11, Winter Wind, plays down the hall. In what ways does the studio echo the dramatics of the piano?
Oh. And this is one that's open for everyone, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a very beautiful mural that has been painted in the hallway of this studio, depicting several different famous ballets. Of course, you know, the Nutcracker, Swan, you know, all these beautiful different ballets, and it's sweeping. It kind of takes you through all these different beautiful dances as if you were following along with some sort of music that's being played. It's very beautiful to look at.
Lighting designers in the studio, while out of sight of the director, allow themselves to goof off and dance to the music. It's very fun. It's very elegant. They avoid her eyes and her ire as much as possible, but they still have fun regardless. There's fun in theater.
The wood finish of the piano is very drastic. It stands out, especially concert pianos in popular halls and studios. And this studio itself seems to emulate that within every bit of wood that you see, from the floors that dancers dance on, to the rafters, to shelves, things of that nature, have a glossy sheen, a finish about them that seems deeper than the wood itself that was formed from the trees that built this studio, almost as if the blood, sweat, and tears from these dancers itself have given a new, professional, gorgeous finish to the wood, to the building.
So, Bigby, what do you do?
So Bigby is first going to one more time take a good long sniff in the box. Like he really just he really
This is
fucking
where the
gives
trail
it
is
this time.
led into the theater itself.
This is where the trail is led. He just takes a good fucking sniff, and he's going to begin to sneak inside. His main plan.
Oh, you are already inside. You're already inside.
Yeah. He's inside.
Yeah.
But his main plan is, as he's been watching another theater group as of lately, he goes into the risers. He goes into all like the scaffolding and stuff, the catwalk that is there. And he watches from a distance. He watches people that he will never be able to interact with. He watches people who he's never had a chance to interact with. And he's going to not only watch, but also listen. He's going to listen very carefully.
Oh, fantastic.
Almost like kind of shutting off like his periphery and just focusing on the ears.
Okay.
I would like to use my your custom move.
Yeah, your custom move. In addition to, so this is information. I'm going to say, the way that you're describing it, I'm going to have this be plus composure. And I'm going to give you disadvantage because of longing.
I think that fits. I think that fits a lot. Cool. All right. Oh, I have disadvantage. Let me grab a third dice really quick.
Tell me what you rolled.
2 5s and a 6.
So
it's an 11.
It's disadvantage, so the 2 5s is just 10.
Oh yeah, 10.
Cool.
Sorry, I was thinking about advantage. My
We'll
bad.
get back to see what happens next. Let's jump back over to Ross. I feel like Ross, in his entering the congregation, all eyes are on you. You see at the head of this group of sailors, those that worship the drowned guardian, is Martin Gallagher, the priest, bleary-eyed, unkempt, salt and peppered beard. He is kind of, and there are several gruff, burly sailors over here. What is Ross hoping to do? You are an intruder in this place.
Ross is just going to start wading through, is going to pick up a kitten that won't stop running around, is going to start wading through the congregation and just pushing through with eyes on Father Gallagher.
And what is your intention here? What are you hoping to have happen?
Oh, all eyes on me. I'm about to give a rousing speech to these fucking people.
All right, then I'm going to ask you to make a night move with your presence. You are drained, so you'll have disadvantage. And what are you afraid of happening here? Should you fail in your task here or lose your nerve?
Afraid of them solidifying and joining together, but in a way that is not beneficial to their situation.
It's going to be worse than that because you're starting up some discord, I think, in here by failing, and the Guardian's going to get involved.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
Do you wish to continue with this course of action? All right.
Yeah.
Then go ahead and give me a night move plus your presence with disadvantage.
I am going to utilize the 1851 Colt Navy revolver.
Explain to me how.
Not in a threatening man, not like pointing it at people or anything like that, but as simply just spinning it on Ross's finger, almost as if it's a hypnotizing tool.
Having seen enough, like fucking Ocelot from Metal Gear, that like you gun the thing around. Like, okay, having seen enough like gunplay like that, it is hypnotizing. It is certainly alluring. I will allow that. You may roll flat roll with your presence. Go ahead.
When you find someone who's cool like that, you'll listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
It's jazz,
Please
baby.
tell me the
It's
first.
jazz.
Please tell me the first words he say is "gentlemen." You know, like.
Yes.
God.
Oh. I love Ross so much.
Fantastic, and I'm utilizing presence here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is a 5 plus 1 is a 6.
Oh, phenomenal! You have no mask to mark except for Bloodsoaked Passage.
We also have.
Oh,
Got Mask of the
you have
Depths.
Mask of the Depths.
Mask?
It's true.
That's the death.
So let me narrate what happened here first, right? As you enter, swinging your gun, speaking out the side of your mouth, Ross Fontenot, you get these burly British soldiers who don't like you, a foreigner, a pompous American, not even a sailor, coming in and telling them, and I'm gonna say a bit of a row interruption starts here. There's a bit of a fight, but if you can handle yourself, your attempt to speak to the heart of these sailors goes awry. They are more banded together now than ever to be more violent and heavy-handed in their approaches. Plus, you're currently getting your ass kicked and you're kicking their asses, but it's then that rising from the depths, echoing beneath the waves, a keening song calls out during this time of strife, a keening song for the lost and the drowned, and even deep in your soul you know that this is a song about a time when sacrifices were more plentiful. It is a mesmerizing call to seek it out and join the rituals which feed its power, jump into the sea, participate. Who has not lost something? Who has not been vulnerable? It is calling to you, and it is going to wreak its havoc. So, Mask of the Depths.
Mask of the Depths,
got it.
please.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and mark that off. The prompt of the Mask of the Depths is each hunter narrates a flashback to a time when they search for hope alone in the dark. I think we should all narrate that during the dawn phase. That is probably the most apt time to do it. So I love that Mask of the Depths. All right, you bump it up to the hit, just barely a hit. So that's instead that's what could have happened. What instead happens is that there's going to be a complication or a cost, and I'll describe what it looks like. I can easily tie this into Theodora as well. Okay, we'll get back to that. I will narrate what happens as a result following. Alrighty. Let's jump back over to Meg. And Carla, in the pub with Theodora Brathwaite at the bar, leading these men in a rouse. And I'm going to tell you right now, so you understand, you know immediately what's happening here. Theodora is not just having a drink with sailors. She's not just leading a sea shanty. You know her able manipulation. You know her connection with the sea, with mercantile, with fellow sailors, the pirate queen of Barbuda, the terror of Montserrat. And here she is, single-handedly undermining your plan. Because what she is doing is not just rousing these sailors into merriment, she's rousing these sailors to revolt. Not unionizing, not working together, but she is talking about violently dismantling the system against the queen. She is turning a whole dock worth of sailors, one pub at a time, to her own cause of bringing low the crown and instilling someone that she is working towards their best interest. So you know that this is happening here, and she looks at you and she smiles and holds a drink to you, the blue sapphire around her neck gleaming in the lantern light of the tavern, glittering with wealth and promise, as she continues conversing with nearby sailors, and then gets up and walks over to you and says, "Well, if it isn't the one, the only Carla Holst, I'm so glad to see you. It has been so long."
Has it now?
An actual cup, what am I doing?
Has it now?
It has.
Well, I see you're certainly up to something fun tonight.
Oh, yes. And I can take by the way you're dressed that you are preparing for a most productive evening of conversation and merrymaking as well.
That's one way to put it, certainly. I think, however, our goals are a little bit
Askew.
similar, if yet different.
You have your way of handling the masses, and I have mine. But, Carla, darling, dearest Carla, I know what you are. You know what I am capable of, the wealth I have amassed, and I know your powers. I've been keeping tabs on Hargrave House this whole time. I don't think this need end in anything other than fair triumph. Don't you agree? Do you know how we handled discourse and disagreements back in Montserrat among fellow sailors?
I have a decent idea, certainly.
What do you say? A wager?
What's your wager on the table?
A drinking game. We drink until the others under the table. The victor stays here along the docks, rousing the spirits of men and women alike to whichever cause they support. The loser, well, if they need to be loaded into a wheelbarrow, are taken home and accept their defeat.
She thinks for a moment. It's been a long time. Why not? And she is going to sweep into the bar. She's going to sit down at a table, cross her legs very ladylike. Bring it on.
She smiles. She beams at you.
You really, really think you can do this?
Oh, my dear. I was, after all, the pirate queen. And then she like snaps her fingers and a crowd gathers around, and she like leans forward and her sleeves fall down. You can see the anchor tattoo at her wrist, the salt and pepper through her hair, almost glittering like her gem. And they lay not pints of beer before you, but shots of dark, dark sailor's rum. Well then, my dear, let us begin. And I'm gonna have you roll. This is absolutely gonna be a night move. I feel like. Plus, I
guess this is technically vitality.
I'm thinking it is. I think endurance, vitality.
Yeah.
I was gonna say composure, but I think this is gonna be vitality, sheer physical presence. Carla, what are you afraid of happening here?
It's actually very simple what I'm afraid of happening here. Not that I'm not afraid of getting drunk. Carla, for all intents and purposes, is a minor god. She's not worried about getting drunk. She's worried about getting torn to pieces by an angry drunk mob.
It's worse than that, because you're not going to get torn to pieces. They will try, but we saw what happened to Taggard's men. You'll rip these sailors to ribbons, but in doing so, Theodora leverages that, and her plans get a whole lot more dangerous. Do you
Indeed.
indulge in this game of drinking with Theodora Brathwaite?
I might as well.
All right, you
I
have. Would dismissive get in the way of this? I kind of like the idea that you're
She's
dismissiveness.
underestimating
You're
him?
underestimating
her.
and
Yeah.
you are definitely not. It is gonna. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're underestimating her. I
I'm
think you
underestimating.
absolutely have disadvantage.
Yep, I'm just going through all my stuff, seeing if there's
Yeah.
anything that I want to invoke. Actually, I am going to immediately invoke one of my. Actually, I'm going to do something a little special. I think, not
I'm
the
listening.
collection.
Okay.
Let me think. Around the room, who do I think is the most likely to be one of mine?
Well, of the side characters in this threat, we got some dockhands here. We got some sailors here. There's a Chinese sailor here.
Maybe someone who knows Jenny Johnson.
Ooh,
Since she's one of mine.
maybe. Yeah, this guy's name is oh no, he's not Chinese. He's I think he's Indian. I think his name is Jagandeep Singh. I think he's either Indian or Chinese. Like, yeah. Johnny is his name. Magnificent beard. So that's an option. There's also Sebastian Varga, a dockhand, youthful swagger, handsome face, stylish clothing.
I like him. We'll do him.
Yeah, I think Pyrrha met him in a previous
so.
session. Yeah. You wanna do him? Are you gonna give it him?
I'm going to giveth him, and as Carla, kind of goes in, and I would say for his debasement, it is very subtle, if only because he's standing closer to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that for a bit of leverage, if you want to call it that,
Okay.
I think she is going to ask what's his name again?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. I think she's going to ask Sebastian to try and take up because it ultimately, Carla here it's not about the drinking, it's about winning people to her side, and so she's going to ask Sebastian to take up the chant for her side.
He is a guy who collects songs, so he'll do that. He'll rouse it. Okay. I don't think that's going to negate the disadvantage, but it is a useful service.
It is useful service, and may come in handy later.
May come in handy later. Unless you have an argument that it should. Unless you want to use one of your items to get the disadvantage. Otherwise, you got the disadvantage.
There's not a lot I can do for
Okay.
disadvantage, and not really anything here, no.
Yeah. I think the way I'll use Sebastian is that it'll if you do fail, it'll mitigate the consequences a little bit because you're using that to help perform a service.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Just a little bit of reinsurance, let's call it. So with that,
I love that. Roll disadvantage, your vitality.
1, 2, 3. So that is going to be a total of 8.
8.
Which is not too bad, and I think
Not
I am going
terrible.
to immediately bump that up to a 10.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I usually have to narrate the outcome, but I'll allow it. Go for it. You'll bump that up to a 10. Fantastic. What are you marking?
Mask of the Past. But we'll cover that
We'll
later.
get to that. Let's jump back to the unseen now. Everyone's gone. So, prompt number 3, I'm going to give you this to Meg. Do prompt number 3.
Yes. Millie Cooper cradles her young baby in her arms, softly murmuring stories of the baby's father, a man of noble blood. What do we learn of him? The man in question, his name is Lord Darian Montenegro. He's a young man, youthful, definitely the results of a night in which maybe two people weren't being as careful as they should have been. She was a serving girl. He was a noble. And of course, well, the scandal couldn't hold, so she disappeared into the night and had a child at one of those homes for lost young women. As far as Millie's concerned, Darian wasn't the worst of men. He was kind and jovial, and he loved to sing. He was a music student, as it was at the local university. But ultimately, well, he was more concerned with wealth than anything else. Because of that, well, if it's his money and his name and his future over her, he would take it every time. And she holds the baby close and rocks them both to sleep.
Very good. Ross, you bumped up your result from a miss to a base hit, I believe.
With a complication.
With a
yes.
complication, exactly. There's a complication or a cost. But you begin to speak to these gentlemen, and I will narrate it happens, but I do want to hear you give a little bit of a speech here. So go ahead and do kind of like your introductory, how Ross would start off this conversation, and then I'll narrate what happens as a result.
Ross is twirling the pistol around his fingers, and he's saying, gentlemen, good evening. No need for you to get all excited and up in arms by my presence here. I am not coming here as a specter of ill intent or a bearer of bad news, but rather someone who sees you, who hears you and understands you. I myself have supped with kings, and I have drank with beggars. I have worked and toiled on my hands and knees, and I have subjugated those before me, and I have seen both near and far the outcomes of what happens when ones do not form together, and do not stop and pay attention to the very nature in which they dwell in. Sometimes when life moves fast, it comes at you hard, and it comes at you without any intent of playing fair. It can knock you down, but it's best for you to take in perspective. Especially perspective from those, and he's going to point at Father Gallagher, that seem to be leading you astray, that seem to be asking you to do things that do not help your situation, even when you can see the signs that these things are not beneficial. They persist and they push. So what I'm asking you to do is to shirk the yoke of those that would wish to keep you stagnant and in place, and join together hand in hand, brother, sister, sibling, no matter what you may be, workers together. For the common man is not common in life. The common man is only common by those above that bestow that title upon them.
And you see that your speech is working. Like, these are people, in much of Father Gallagher's dismay, he is getting quite nervous, and but you are speaking to the hearts of these burly gentlemen, these sailors, these laborers, unionize. But then there's a whistle. And as you kind of go back over to the door, you realize that there's a number of Metropolitan Police who are coming up this way in force to investigate an odd gathering in an abandoned chapel late at night, especially when an American was seen blundering through the area. The complication is that the authorities arrive. But there's a little other detail here, because you see who's pointing them in the direction of the authorities, and then it is an ancient man, a butler. Elmore, Theodora's manservant, is putting money in the pockets, favors, not bribes, of course, of the Metropolitan Police to investigate that mysterious goings on, sending them your way. And the police are headed right in your direction.
Cheeky fucking butler.
What happens is this, because I narrate the outcome. You have spoken to them, you do this, but these Metropolitan Police do come up and they break up the gathering, right? They are, and nothing too violent, you know, they came all in and like, oh, what's all this then, you know? Very much like, you know, start your business, right? Come on, you know. They are breaking up the congregation this late, but seeing the state of things, they definitely make some arrests. There's probably some fists thrown. And you get a complication as a result, not a condition as the result. I'm going to give you the condition because you haven't felt like this since Taggart was in town, but because of Theodora's meddling, for the first time in a long while, you feel hounded by the law. The bobbies are at your every heel step, and they are at you, man.
I prefer hounds of love.
You have spoken. You have spoken to the hearts of these sailors, so at least there's that. At what cost, though? One will only find out. Let's jump over to Bigby. So, having snuck around, you rolled a 10, I believe.
Yeah.
Flat 10. Good. Good roll. Listening to the performers in the night. And you're using Withering, so you get, what's your hit result again?
Here, let's run back over there really quick.
It's I point you towards a useful thing, right?
Yeah, so it's on a hit, you can use the clue to find a location or side character of interest to the threat that has not been interacted with.
Oh, I love that. Okay, cool. So let's see. The clue you find, because you were listening into the people, the in the studio, the performers, listening in on them and the crew. And actually, let me ask you this question. This is the paint the scene question, but I'm only going to ask it to you, since you are in this labyrinth of, of latticed catwalks, secret ladders, storage spaces, all this like sealed off passages, and adjoining the studio. You only answer this. Do you feel warmth amongst the workers? Or sense a chill? Why?
I would say a sense of warmth. I think at one point it was very chill. I think at one point it was borderline hostile due to such a ravenous environment. But with the death of their castmates, it's actually brought them closer than they'd ever thought that they would get to be. For the first time, this theater has, not felt so much like a prison, but like a home. And it's a way to kind of get away, and the show must go on, and they are going to continue to put the show on, even if there's only one cast member left.
I love that. Well, I'll see what you hear in the night, from listening to the dancers and the people, is talk of performances of the murders, but the show must go on, of course. You hear talk of that down below in the underground passages beneath the theater, where old props and sets are stored down below in those dark passages. set crew members and even some of the dancers who've been moving around the space speak of the place as the fact that it's cold down there. Specifically, there is an absence of warmth in the underground passages beneath the theater. It's frigid. The clue is an absence of warmth in the underground. And that will point you towards there is an underground beneath the theater that can be explored as a location if you so choose.
Oh, that's the move. That's where we gotta go.
Full of secrets, which you may be able to visit with another hunter there later.
Later.
Yeah, that's what you get. And I will say that because you're listening, you hear someone else is on the catwalk that you're on, but not near you and moving, not noticing you. And you get the faintest prickling sensation that the killer just walked by you and neither of you noticed each other until they passed by and it was too late.
Did I get a whiff?
Nope. Too
Damn.
fast. Let's jump over to Carla now. You rolled a 10, didn't you?
I did. Well, I bumped it up to a 10.
Exactly. Well, that means you do what you intend or you hold steady. All right. You drink Theodora under the table. You outdrink the pirate queen of Montserrat. The pirate queen of Barbuda, the terror of Montserrat herself. Describe what it looks like. And let's see, I'm gonna first of all...
I'm going to do, if Ross is okay with this, just a little tiny bit of hijacking. So as Ross is heading back from the police breakup of what has happened at the church, he hears the singing at the pub. And he realizes very quickly that it is not a sea shanty, but a worker's song. It is a song that I don't know if is actually written in this time, but it's something called, often called the chemical worker's song, or the process man, if you're familiar with it. And he hears that song, and we cut to the interior where we see that Carla and Theodora are still drinking. There are lines of shots next to them, several empty glasses, and the two of them are still going at it. But the song has changed over these past whoever knows how long, minutes, hours. Neither of them know. All that anyone watching them knows is that Theodora can't keep up with this woman, and the song has changed, and people are singing with her lead singer, if you want to call him that, but also with her. And Ross hears Carla's voice in the song, even though she's clearly drinking, even though she's very clearly drinking, her voice is very present in the song. And then just Theodora. I don't think she drinks Theodora under the table. I think Theodora taps out, realizing that if she was to drink under the table, that she would be at the mercy of, well, a vampire queen. And perhaps such things are not particularly smart when the tide has turned.
I love that. All right. That means you alone have control over the docks this evening. She concedes then. Very nice.
And as the song drifts and Carla lets the other sailors carry the songs, the other pubs, into the rest of the docks, she walks out to join Ross.
Very nice. Alrighty then. That was everybody. So let's jump back to the unseen. Wes, you will get this last prompt if you'd care to read it and narrate it.
Walter McTavish is a homeless ex-soldier who sleeps on the filthy straw-covered floor of the casual ward when he's not been able to beg and scrounge enough for a bed elsewhere. What has he lost in service to Queen and country? Walter McTavish has all 10 fingers, has all 10 toes, is missing a handful of teeth, but that comes with living in London. Walter McTavish has the skin on his face, has his legs and his arms, has his bits and his bobs. What Walter McTavish does not have is his mind. His time spending within His Majesty's Royal Army has led him to lose his sanity, has lost a grip on what is real and what isn't. He sees his expeditions south and lands far beyond what he can comprehend and where he should even be setting foot on for people that do not know that he exists and do not care. And that makes him feel so very small. And in those moments when he's lying on this filthy straw-covered floor in probably what might be a cellar that is cold and dank, no matter what time it is, year it is, that is the only time that Walter McTavish feels big. That is the only time that Walter McTavish feels himself a baseless animal that was used for nothing more than somebody else's gain.
Very good. I think we now have our little wrap-up scenes. First off, we have Big B, because it sounds like Ross and Carla are together. Big B having left the theater. What does the wrap-up of his evening look like?
I would say the wrap-up is him giving up giving chase to something that he could not find. Upon realizing what was behind him, he immediately left to run and scour, unable to find anything.
Yeah, how do you feel right now?
Frustrated, as if like he is part of this. He is part of this Hargrave House where they solve problems like this, and it's like a fucking serial killer. Mm-hmm. Like this should be easy work. How disappointing. Mm-hmm. Why am I so fucking disappointing?
Oh, you know what? Actually, the condition, let's give it, it's called immense disappointment.
Immense disappointment. And he thinks a little harder. He thinks in silence. He thinks upon himself. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was right.
Maybe he was. Go ahead and give you that new condition.
Yeah, so immense disappointment.
Yep.
And he is going to...
Oh no, don't get rid of longing. I see that you're rewriting
longing.
Shit.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You still have longing.
Oh, now I got 2.
Mm-hmm. You're full up on conditions there, boyo.
And he's gonna start to head home.
Great.
And kick rocks, and when he makes his way into Hargrave House, the door struggles to open. So he applies a little pressure and uses brute force to just open the door on his own with his own frustrations.
Yeah.
Slams the door, goes into the infirmary, pulls a book, and enters his quarters.
Great. Let's jump over with Carla and Ross, wherever they are following the events of the docks. You have... Ross has instilled in the believers of the spirit to abandon the ways of the Father Gallagher, to instead to worship in a different way. They'll be more beneficial. While Carla has inspired men up and down the docks to work together and unionize and demand better fare in a way that will not benefit. I think there are several moments probably where, like, because Theodora's plan at this point is to usurp the queen. It's a lot of like the queen, the monarchy is not your enemy. Men, these like the greed is not a result of the monarchy. It is a consequence of this other area, So it's like you also are able to keep them from being like, yeah, let's turn on the government too. It's like, no, let's just bring load the guys who, manipulate us behind the scenes. I would consider that threat resolved. Like, because the question you were pursuing was maintaining lasting order, and by, yeah, I think that you have established a good foothold here. Carla, I think I absolutely, by just necessity, have to give you the condition, I'm not drunk, because Carla can handle her liquor. But let's give you...
Inebriated.
No. I'm going to phrase like this. Belly sick.
That's a good way to put it.
Your ancient stomach is filled with sloshing sailor's rum, and it is not your drink of choice, to say the least.
Alcohol's gotten better in the ages. That's still not good alcohol.
What do you two do this evening?
Ugh.
We should get you some bread, something hearty to soak all that up.
Oh, if I didn't have a strong stomach, I think I'd be on the floor. Or it would be on the floor. Ugh.
Well, you managed to hold your own against a pirate queen. Not everybody can say that they've done that, especially when it comes to drinking.
And I think you've managed to convince a lot of very, very zealous men, which is not something many can say either.
Indeed, but it seems that the noose is tightening. Things are stacking up against us, and I can feel the walls closing in, Carla.
Can you?
I'm not gonna be here for long.
Fate comes for us all. And I suppose you more than any of them. And she kind of just gently touches his face. You've been touched by it.
No matter what, I am always going to be a tool for somebody to wield. Whether it be fate, a deity, or a man in a sun mask. No matter what.
What did he tell you?
He gave me an offer. A third path to choose. When I was staring down the barrel of a gun, or what was going to be my last night here.
Mm-hmm.
And for a little bit of respite, I took it.
Are you going to take it?
We'll see who comes calling faster. Sobek or the radiant sun. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
If things get bad and I eventually give in, you all are gonna be hunted. There's no way I'll be able to stop it.
The first time won't be the last.
Just make sure I am dealt with before I can hurt the other two.
She cups his face, leans in close. I'll bring you back. I've lost so many people. So many. I really don't want to lose you, but if you go that way, I can say I can bring you back. The others, I'm not so sure. But it's your path first and foremost.
I'd like to think that that's true.
And even if it's not, well, there is... I can't give you a fourth. Not really. But... well... maybe I can give you something before the end. And she gives him a kiss.
And he reciprocates.
And I think the dawn rises on London. Well, since we had a bit of a late start, let's go through the dawn phase. We've ended last several sessions. We've ended on the dawn phase. Let's go through the dawn phase, and we'll just have Pyrrha pick her reward next session. Yeah, let's go through the motions here because wow, good night phase, really solid work. I'll say that for the stars and wishes, but yeah, everyone, round of applause. All right, I think that was a good resolution for the threat. I'm satisfied with that because the way you guys set up that question was less about dealing with the spirit itself and more about dealing with the periphery of what it was interacting with, which I think you guys did a great job of handling, even despite Theodora's best efforts. First of all, before I ask you for your rewards, for resolving the threat, you get a new move. This new move is called Time and Tide. And I'll type this into the custom move sections after the session. When you seek the Guardian's aid to recover something that was lost or taken from you, offer up something precious in return. Submerge yourself in underwater, and roll with vitality. On a 10+, the ritual succeeds, consuming your offering and leaving you with a tangible clue to recover the thing you seek. On a 7 to 9, as above, but the ritual leaves you marked by the sea. Take one of the following conditions: tidebound, siren's call, ravenous, chilling, fear of water, haunted, or something else. On a miss, the price was greater than you understood. The ritual consumes your offering and your life.
That's very,
oh shit!
That's very cool.
Ooh.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so I'll add that to your custom move section after the session. We'll talk about the rewards, of which there are 6 options. Number 1, preserved. Actually, so real quick, I believe this is the only threats that has like what can be considered magic items as rewards. So 1 preserved eel in a dull green bottle grants protection from drowning, single use. Add it to your personal quarters. A tarnished bell wrought in the shape of a crab. When rung, it summons a swarm of crawling sea scavengers to dispose of organic matter, but has no obvious means to dismiss them. Add it to your personal quarters. A small painting of a sea monster layered on driftwood in a religious iconographic style. Added to your personal quarters. Nim Granby, the occultist from several sessions ago, becomes a recurring side character. You get 1 extra clue on the information move when you consult them on matters concerning demons, or you may make a roll with advantage when attempting an appropriate ritual with their assistance. And then 2 mementos.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
If there were to be a second season, would Nim Granby carry over as being a recurring side character for that? Okay. I will take that then.
All right.
I will take Nim Granby as a recurring side character.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Season 2, they can absolutely come back as a recurring side character.
Very useful.
You'll have all the benefits of the previous season.
Since Jordan can't take rewards.
Yes, because Bigby can't, so...
What's the crab one again?
It is a...
It's time for crab, baby.
God damn it.
I have to.
I can't believe Carla's crab raving. It is a tarnished bell wrought in the shape of a crab. When rung, it summons a swarm of crawling sea scavengers to dispose of organic matter, but has no obvious means to dismiss the swarm.
They can't fucking get rid of the crabs. There's just too many.
Nope.
Too many crabs. That's so fucked. I love that.
Carla the Crab Queen. Look upon my works, ye mighty in despair.
I mean, something. All life evolves towards perfection, and perfection in crabs.
I can't believe you're taking a blood-sucking horde of crabs. All right, cool. Yeah, then add that to your personal quarters.
Why does that kind of fit with Carla, though?
Add tarnished crab bell to it.
She has people fucking serve her all the time. Why not a crustacean?
I love this.
Why not crustaceans?
I hate this, but I love this.
They taste like crab and talk like people.
Yeah. God. All right. Where's Where's Ross's Old Bay?
I mean, that's one way to get rid of a lot of crabs.
I think Ross would probably use Tony Chachere's over Old Bay.
Get a little adobo on that crab.
Exactly, there you go.
Great, cool. And for you, Big B, because you got your theater troupe move, you can't take rewards, but instead, you can secretly help. Why do you have 3 boxes marked already? You've only done this once.
Because we dealt with Sally No Face, we dealt with the Beast, and then this one's the 3rd one.
Oh, you never narrated. Well, actually, you're not. The beast doesn't count because the only reward from the Beast was that there is a trophy of the Beast in Hargrave House, and that in the legacy picked out the reward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one
cool.
doesn't count. You never would have collected on a reward for that because that one just became a thing.
Okay.
So yeah, this is your second.
Good to know.
So, yeah, describe how something from this resolved threat can be used to help your theater group with their problem.
So, we dealt with sailors. A lovely thing about theater and sailors is that they actually use a lot of the same equipment. I like to think that we were able to get our hands on a big handful of that, and Big B did take it to them, just like as a donation thing.
Sturdy fucking ship ropes for like theater craft, and like better. A lot of like wood and like stuff for like set piecings and like good. Okay, cool. I think
a lot of that. There's a lot of that, so they don't have to spend money. They don't have to test the waters.
You enhance the quality of their theatrical stocks. Yeah.
If I can enhance their theater, they might be able to get left alone. So
very true. That's so cool. All right.
Oh gosh, I guess with that means that like we have this last threat and Bigby's here for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Like there's no taking him out of the game or
no. He's here for the end. He's here for the end game.
He's here for the end.
You know, I was kind of worried there because I honest to God, I thought that once we deal with this next threat, like either Bigby gets taken out or called mean names or killed.
So let's answer Dawn questions really quickly. Ross doesn't have to because Ross is maxed out.
I'm maxed out
Carla's
too.
maxed out. There's just Big B, and I'll have Shelby do this later. Big B, did you answer a question? Yes. Did you resolve a threat? Yes. Did you experience an echo in the night?
I set up a couple. One was the sniffles, and 2 was Deckard not interacting with kids and Big B not interacting with people.
There was also the basement that was set up.
Also the basement.
That I set up for you because I cannot take any advancement, so I was like, I'll set up an echo just in case.
Basement.
So it sounds like there's a few options there. Cool, so you mark that one. Were you extra gentle with someone or something because you know how strong you are?
Not this time,
Not
no.
this time. And did you use brute strength to get your way?
He ripped the door off its hinges.
I'll allow it.
When he went home.
Mark 4. Mark 4 XP.
That's what I'm talking about!
I'll allow it. All right, everyone can mark new elective Dawn questions if they want to. We don't have any custom moves that need to be resolved here yet, but we have some mask prompts.
Mask prompts.
We have one from the whole group, I believe.
Yes.
And is that the only one?
My mask passed.
Yes. Let's have Meg go first with hers for Carla's.
Let me.
Yes. Can you read?
I need to pull up notes real fast.
Okay.
But it's actually very simple. Narrate a flashback when you first met the person you fell madly in love with.
What are you about to do to me?
Of course it was a bard. Of course it was an artist. Of course it was someone who played beautiful music. And of course it was someone who danced throughout the night, who was wandering from town to town. And of course it was her. Her name was Araya. She was beautiful. She was gorgeous. She was everything to Carla. She was strong and she was boisterous and she was loved by everyone who saw her. And Carla, well, of course, she fell in love with someone who created things. She always falls in love with people who create things, who make the world beautiful with the things that they do, or the things that they say, or the things that they bring into the world. She falls in love with artists, and with musicians, and with dancers, and with all of these people. Araya is a woman who is deeply tanned skin, beautiful, beautiful blonde hair streaked with red. She wears gaudy, horrifically gaudy men's clothes as she's traveling throughout the world, but she doesn't care, and neither does Carla, and they fall in love over nights of dancing and singing and music and lights in the grove and beautiful starlit talks. And they're married in a chapel. Well, Carla's chapel. And it's beautiful. And Carla loves her. And that's the problem. Because it's Carla that loves her.
Very good. All right, before we end this evening, let's all hear, I want to hear the masks from everybody. We'll close with this. From the Masks of the Dark. Each hunter narrates a flashback to a time when they searched for hope alone in the dark.
I also have to describe an innocent that I killed with my curse as well.
Very true.
So I'll do that afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this nice hopeful thing, and then you can do the bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing to end on.
Ross was the first one to wake up on the ship. He recognized it because being on steamships is a lot different than those made of just wooden sail. You never lose the noise that drones in your ears on and on, but he couldn't hear it. He could hear babies crying. He could feel hot breath all in the hold where people slept on their passage from the new world back to the old one. He stood up, realizing that no one else was stirring. He found his boots, he put them on, not bothering to put on pants or a shirt, and just strolled out. Almost tripping over bodies and bags and steamer trunks. He groped his way through the hold until he found a ladder. Feeling the pull of the moon, he almost took a step up to bask in its glow, to feel the warmth of it on his skin, especially in the cool night air in the middle of the Atlantic. But instead, he found a lantern next to the steps and journeyed further down into the depths of the ship. Everyone was asleep, even the sailors. He made his way to the engine. And he's never been one to be completely useful with a set of tools and machinery. But for some reason, this felt different. It felt like as if he was stuck in time and he had all the time in the world. And so he sat by lantern light and worked on a steam engine until finally, one good whack with a wrench, it kicked back to life. Lights turned on, and he felt a little bit more assured about his time that laid before him. in London.
We go back to a different mask. The mask with Carla in plainer clothes, holding a young girl at her chest, and with a young boy walking beside her. And they walk late into the night, out into the countryside, away from the city and to who knows where. She doesn't know. The kids certainly don't. And she walks for a little bit, and eventually, as the stars are twinkling overhead and the moon is new, there's no moon in the sky, but that's okay for her. Eventually, she comes across a simple farmhouse out in the middle of somewhere. If Carla had to put a place on it, was probably what's now Eastern France, at least by our modern sensibilities. At that time, who knows what it could have been. And Carla is a proud woman. She doesn't like asking for help. She knows she can't really ask for help, but some things are more important than that. And she knocks on the door, and there is a woman standing there who answers despite it being the middle of the night. And she takes one look at Carla, one look at the child and the young boy, and she gestures them in. Over the night, where her son is sleeping on a small bed and she and the woman are talking, the young girl is now nursing at this woman's chest. And she tells Carla very plainly, "I lost mine. You shouldn't lose yours."
All right. Bring us home, Big B.
Most masks we see start with lives that came before Big B. But this one starts with fuzz. It starts with lightning. It starts with a cold table that he lays on, as sigils burn into his skin, as stitches mend themselves. A man that he's never met, cursing him. The first words that he hears is disappointment and horror. And then he is alone. Frightened, alone, unsure, confused, but most of all, a disappointment. That is, until someone like him approaches. This one doesn't speak. He was not given a voice. He was not given much else other than the bare essentials, just bone and flesh and stitch. Only meant to be a helper, a tool, a servant. He reaches down and picks Bigby up by his hands. Bigby looks at him. He tries to mouth words that were once familiar in a past life, but just can't. The teeth and the mouth and the tongue, they're not compatible to the way that this voice is supposed to work. But he looks into his eyes, and the servant looks into his as well. And with a kind hand, a gentle hand, one that's more human than his creator could ever be, takes him out of his quarters into the infirmary, and they wait. When the morning comes, 3 other hunters return back home to find him. The start to a new family.
Very good. But we can't end on a hopeful note. Ross, you almost lost yourself tonight. Tell us who you hurt instead.
Ross makes sure that Carla and everyone else has made their way back to the Hargrave House. Ross does what he needs to do. He lets the beast out, but under his terms. He knows that Sobek is calling. There are enemies in the night that need to be dealt with. In his own time, he had been amassing a sort of dossier of different entities that lurked in the dark reaches of the London streets. This one night, you see a carriage. Looks almost like a funeral carriage. Black lanterns hanging from each corner. A driver, most unsettling. Horses black as the carriage itself. No windows. And it is racing as if it's trying to outrun the devil itself. And you see leaps and bounds, hear brick and cobble breaking underfoot as Ross is leaping from rooftop to rooftop, giving chase, finally making its way towards the Thames and one of the many bridges that crosses over it. And you see Ross leap onto this carriage and peel back the wood. The driver trying to shoot him with a shotgun, but him not giving any attention. No, this is not the one. There are those that lurk inside. As you see multiple what appear to be vampires feeding on innocent and young inside this carriage. Ross makes eye contact with one of the children, a pleading look in their eyes. And all they see back is rage, unfettered rage. As Ross grabs one vampire after the other, grabbing them, ripping head and spinal cord off, tossing them into the water, ripping them to pieces, and finally grabbing the driver and tossing him in. And then not even taking the time to realize that in the time that he was ripping apart these beasts, these enemies to Sobek and those that live in the sun, he had ripped apart the innocents as well, there being nothing but viscera left behind. In his rage at himself, at Sobek, at those that dwell in the night, he takes the carriage, rips it apart, throwing it into the Thames. Maybe there's something down there that can have better use for whatever the hell it was before than what it is now.
Indeed. And on that note, we will bring this evening's chapter of The Between to a close. Thank you, distinguished guests, for joining us. We will be back in the near future with the season finale episodes, and stay watching our socials for information on when those will come. Until that point, though, we will see you down the road. And until then, sleep well and rest easy, for the night is dark and full of terrors. Good night.